I ordered a caramel ribbon crunch frappuccino blended beverage. Like I don't even know what the fuck any of that means.
You
So I was
ordered a
just
milkshake.
You jumped right in. Like
Yeah.
that's expert level Starbucks. You're getting white girl wasted
I
on
really
caffeine
wish
right
I
now.
was going to say I really wish you
13-year-old
would have
girl.
asked the last time a black male ordered that at that Starbucks location. It may be never.
What's up? Welcome back to Macrodosing. It is Tuesday. It's July 23rd. We got the whole squad here. Myself, Arian, Big T, Mad Dog, McKenzie in the booth. And we got a lot to talk about. But nothing more important than what Arian just did a second ago. Took a sip. Took a sip of some Starbucks coffee. Arian, you had coffee for the first time today?
Okay, it's not the first time I've tasted it, but it's never really. It was more awesome. Let me see what it tastes like. This is the first time I actually bought coffee, like with the intention of like, yo, I need a little picker upper. You know what I mean? So I don't even know if this classifies as coffee. I ended up getting a Hold on, man. Let me say the name of it. See, this is the problem. So I tweeted this morning. So for people who don't drink coffee, there's far too many options. It's very intimidating. Like I opened up the Starbucks and I was like, I need something because I was up late last night watching Love Island with all my
Hell
little ones.
yeah.
Yeah, I was lit too. It's lit. I'm loving this. This season's extra toxic, by
It's
the
the
way.
best show on television.
Oh my God, it's so toxic. So yeah, so I opened. I was like, let me try some Starbucks. You know, my kids drink or eat from Starbucks sometimes at breakfast. My mom, she's a coffee crackhead, by the way. A lot of you coffee drinkers are crackheads, by the way. Like it's a cult. Shit is weird.
I
But
have
anyway,
coffee.
so I'm opening up in a menu, and it's like, bro, I don't even know how to begin to look to see what to even try to order for like a new drinker. Let me see what I got. I ordered a caramel ribbon crunch frappuccino blended beverage. Like I don't even know what the fuck any of that means.
You
So I was
ordered
just,
a milkshake.
I mean, I guess though. I mean, it tastes like you can taste the coffee in it, but like I don't. So like the reason why I never really drink coffee because I don't really like the taste of it. And it's the smell never got me, and the taste never really got me. So I was like, okay, let me get something that will probably taste a little better. I can still taste the coffee around the sweetness, but this will have to do, man.
You jumped right in. Like
Yeah.
that's expert level Starbucks. You're getting white girl wasted on
I
on
really
caffeine
wish
right
I
now.
was going to say I really wish you
13-year-old
would have
girl.
asked the last time a black male ordered that at that Starbucks location. It may be never.
I don't know, man. I just clicked on the most visually appealing one. I don't know shit about. Like I'm looking at like the options for this shit, dog. Like the options are like, look, bro. I click in and it's like you got to get milk options: coconut, almond, oat milk, vanilla sweet cream. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Yeah.
Non-fat, 2% soy. I didn't even know soy was a thing. Soy milk, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. And then I have another option: Frappuccino roast. Choose 1 to 9. I don't know what that means, dog. Additional Frappuccino roast for 60 cents. Then they have a whole section called drizzle. That's what's
Well,
up.
downloading the app for your first time was crazy. You
No,
should
I
have
have.
just.
It's on Uber Eats. It's just
Oh,
yeah, I just clicked Uber Eats and Starbucks came up because I typed in coffee, and then they got another thing. Ex-
I love that you go open up Uber Eats and just search for coffee. It's like, yeah, every restaurant in town.
That's true. I didn't think of that. Espresso shots. I don't know what it's. Oh, it's espresso. I thought it was
Yeah.
espresso.
No.
Okay, espresso shots, sauces, mocha sauce, I don't know syrups. I don't know what none of this shit. Topping options, sweetener, whipped cream, chai teas, packets, powders, affogato style. Espresso roast. I thought we already handled the espresso, but I guess you got to roast it too. Line the cup. I don't even know what this shit. Flavored pearls. Like dog, this shit gets. It gets. I don't understand it. So I just clicked it up, and it's not bad. I ain't mad at it. It's not horrible, but I can still taste the coffee. So I don't think I'll be doing coffee again.
You're not really drinking a coffee right now, though. You're drinking a dessert.
I mean, I don't know. I hear you.
what are your thoughts?
It's not bad. Like I could taste the coffee. I could taste I guess the thing that I didn't like that made me never want to try coffee again. I do taste that. But this other stuff around it, it's pretty, yeah, it's like a little milkshake. It's pretty good.
Well, I'm glad you experienced it.
We got to get you Stella Blue. 'Cause
Yeah.
then you'll like it.
We'll get you some real coffee. Do you have a coffee machine in your house? Coffee maker?
I do, but it's only I literally bought one just because when my mom comes to visit me, she's a crackhead. She's a coffee crackhead. And so every morning she has like 2 or 3 cups. And so I literally have one just she knows how she has a whole little drawer. You open it up and it has little packets and all kind. I don't even go on that side of the kitchen, honestly.
We could do an entire episode on the history of caffeine.
Caffeine's dope. I fuck with caffeine.
Yeah, because
In general.
societies, they kind of took off once caffeine and coffee was introduced.
Rightfully so.
Everyone got way more productive.
That makes sense.
You guys want to do caffeine?
We could.
Caffeine
Yeah.
on Wednesday?
That'd
Yeah.
be fun.
History
For
of caffeine.
Thursday show?
Down with
Okay. All right, cool. See if maybe Big Cat has something to contribute to that.
I was gonna say.
He might have a couple thoughts on the subject.
that. I always see him tweet about that shit. He really like coffee like that?
He drinks coffee every day. Yeah.
And then Stella Blue is his company.
Yeah.
Oh, it's his company.
Yep.
Cool. Shout out to him.
So we'll dive into coffee. We'll dive into caffeine because I do think that like society, there's all sorts of inventions that get tied back into like the Sumerians, the Medicis. Yeah, there's some interesting stuff to get into there. And we also today later on we've got an interview with Robert Kevitt. He does a documentary about the Mandela Effect. So we talked about the Mandela Effect, and we also get into UFOs and big rivalries that different UFOologists have against each other. And there's some beef on the streets, and he is not afraid to speak out about it. But yeah, I think we've talked about the Mandela Effect before on the show, and he gives a couple more examples. He's like fully convinced simulation. Like
Yeah,
there's some tears in the
he really believes that shit.
space-time continuum. Yeah, he really does. So we're going to get into it with Robert Kevitt in a little bit for an interview that's coming up later today. We got some other stuff to talk about. I hope everyone had a good weekend.
I can feel it though. This is weird. You can feel it.
With the caffeine?
Yeah, I can feel it.
Yeah, you're high.
I think so. It just like it hit me just now. Like just hit me. Like that's pretty cool.
Yeah, caffeine's a drug, man.
It is. Wow. You can really you could literally like feel it.
Yeah. I'm so excited that you're experiencing this.
I mean, I've had caffeine before, but like, all right, man. I might be a little dope head after this. This works.
There you go. So I hope we all had a good weekend. I spent some time in Michigan this weekend. Went to South Haven, Michigan. Beautiful place, right on the lake, on Lake Michigan. Nice little town. Good ice cream. Good beach. Good times. Good people. But I might have stumbled my way into a true crime situation.
Okay.
On Saturday. So on Saturday, well, earlier this week there was a big storm that came through, right? So you might have heard about the 10 tornadoes or whatever there were in Chicago. That storm, the derecho, as they call it, blew across the lake, stirred up a bunch of stuff. So we're playing in the surf. There's some kids. We met up with some other families over there and hung out with them. And there's some kids that are with us. They're playing in the surf and the waves. We get in. My buddies and I we're just kind of like walking through knee-deep water. And my buddy trips on something. And then he looks down. There's something that's sticking out of the sand at the bottom. He uses his foot, brings it up to the surface. There's this bone in there. It's like long, skinny. It's about the size of my shin. It's a little bit shorter than my shin. It looks like a tibia. It looks like it connects to the knee at the top, and then at the bottom it kind of ends where the ankle would be. But it looked like a human tibia, like a leg bone. And so we pull it out, and we're holding it, and we're like, holy shit, this isn't like a bone that you would get at PetSmart for your dog or anything like that. It looks like a human bone. Maybe I guess it could be a deer bone. I guess human shin bones and deer shin bones look kind of similar. So we take it out, and we're just looking at it, and we're like, we should probably let somebody know about this. We go down, we find a sheriff that's on a boat. The sheriff boats are awesome, by the way. You just cruise the lake all day. We call the guys over. They come over to us. My buddies, I'm with my one friend who's about 5'9", I'm going to guess like 250. He's a big boy. Played rugby with him. My other guy, who's about 5'9", I would guess like 150, but he's also a rugby player. But like two opposite ends of the body, the BMI spectrum, and they're both wearing these Speedos, right? Because they got them in Australia together. Whatever, it's a long story. And we're pretty drunk at the time. We go up to the sheriff, my two boys in Speedos, holding a bone over their head. The sheriff comes over, and they're like, hey, we just found this in the surf. I don't know what it is. And the sheriff looks at it, and he goes, holy shit. And this like look of concern comes over the sheriff's face. He takes the bone, puts it in like a sterilized compartment thing, gets my buddy's number, and he's like, we're going to go back and we're going to see what this is and get it tested. I think there's a chance I might have found a human body this weekend.
That's fucking wild, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are they gonna let you know what the results are of the test?
That's the thing. They got my buddy's phone number down, and my buddy kept saying, like, I hope that they call me and give me updates on what they're doing. I don't think they're gonna give him updates, but we're gonna keep checking the news and see. Because at first we were just like, oh, whatever, this is a crazy bone, maybe it's human. But then after we turned it in, you start to think like if it was a human and they like identify the remains, that would be great. We were just, like carrying around a person's leg on the beach. So we'll find out if there's something in the news about like human remains being found in Lake Michigan. That'd be wild. But
which lake was it? Is Lake Michigan?
Lake Michigan, yeah.
Isn't that like a big ass lake though?
It's a big ass lake.
Great Lake.
It's a great lake, some might say. But I looked up the currents in Lake Michigan, and it looks like it would be something that maybe with the storms over the past couple of weeks.
You playing detective over there?
I'm playing detective. Yeah, I'm getting into true crime. I'm looking at the currents, and the currents do go eastward in Lake Michigan. So there's a chance it start out like Chicago, Milwaukee, and then just carried right across the lake there. Pretty wild, though.
That is kind of wild. I mean, keep us updated, man. If they keep y'all updated,
I will. It'd just be weird if it turned out that I was just carrying like a human.
So why? So why you so sure it's a human? But I mean, I don't know enough about bones, but like I'm pretty sure you feel like it's identifiable. Like this was a human bone.
No, I don't. It could be a deer. It could be a deer shin bone too, because they look very similar. But it does. Like I held it up next to my leg, and when you look at a picture of what the tibia looks like, it looks like it looks like your shin bone. And at the top, it had the part that connects to the knee. That part's pretty clear. So it's like a shin bone of something. I just don't know if it's a deer or if it's a human. If it's a deer, I don't know why somebody would like kill a deer and then take it out to the lake to process the body and then throw the body into the lake.
Seems like a bad place to take a human body too, though.
Into the lake?
Like you were in a pretty public area.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily. It looked like it had been in there for a long time.
Unless it washed up, I guess.
Yeah, it was just bone. It wasn't like there was any matter on it. But I guess it would seem more likely to me that somebody would take a human body to the middle of the lake and like dump it in, than take a deer body out there and dump it in.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I wasn't convinced it was a human body till I saw the cop's face, and the cop was like, "What the hell is that?" He was like super concerned about it.
Do they see a lot of bones? I mean,
I don't think so.
Yeah.
We'll wait for the medical examiner. Yeah, I'll keep you guys posted on that. Might have to be called in court to testify or something. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, at this point, you're suspect as well.
I am. Yeah, I discovered it.
Did you touch it?
I did touch it. I carried it for a little bit. Yeah, fingerprints all over that thing.
What'd it feel like?
It was heavier than I thought that it would be.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like a bone, just like a bone that you would get for a dog or something, but it felt a little bit heavier than that. And it was like longer and skinnier. It was wild. It was definitely a shin bone or something. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. We had a big weekend for news. Big T was right.
Yep.
Big T was right.
So a couple of people tweeted me that, and then you texted in a group. I don't remember the exact claim that you made.
I've been saying that for a year.
Oh, just in general. Okay, I thought you was like a specific claim.
He would not be the nominee. Well, it is specific.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, no, Big T was right.
I mean, hey, take a victory lap, dog. I'm not saying
y'all were adamant.
I mean, it's fairly odd they would do it at this time. What is this?
No.
Almost August?
This was the plan all along. You wait until the primaries are over, so the voters can't have any say. You install the candidate that you want, and then you go. This was the plan the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know about all that, but
They scheduled a debate in June, which never happened, so that he would go out there, fall flat on his face. They could do this for 2 weeks and then kick him out.
I think you're giving the DNC a lot of credit. The DNC is not. I don't think they're as smart as you think they are.
Then why schedule the debate in June?
I don't know. They felt like it
Never happened before.
They felt. I think maybe another reason would be that in case he fucked up at the debate, it gave him a long runway to like have people forget about that.
We're putting the cart before the horse, though. Does Biden know that he has dropped out?
Yeah, so he hasn't made like a video statement about it. He just released. He pretty much dropped a notes app on
A
Twitter
staffer
yesterday.
posted a tweet.
Yeah, somebody posted a tweet. Yeah.
We have not seen.
follow the logic. Give me the logic here, Big T. Okay, so you said this is the plan all along. Okay, so the DNC's plan was to run Biden a second term and install a vice president who was polled so low in the Democratic primaries that she had to drop out before.
Well, I'm not convinced it's going to be her.
Okay, so okay. Give me the full
So
play.
nobody other than Biden has explicitly endorsed her.
Which
Obama-
is a big. It's a big endorsement, giving the sitting.
Yeah,
president.
but he was always going to do that.
Okay.
Obama didn't do it. He had
You're
the
probably
opportunity
you're probably
to.
not used to a president of your liking endorsing their vice president.
Yeah, I guess.
But
But-
back in 2020, Obama didn't endorse Biden until he was officially the nominee.
Okay,
Because-
but he had an opportunity yesterday to
Because
say.
what Obama likes to do is he likes to wait until everything's settled, and then he gives his endorsement to the person where it's like, clearly this person will be the one who's running. That way he doesn't have to like run the risk of endorsing somebody, then they lose the primary, and then he has to give a second endorsement to the first person that he didn't.
I do
originally
think it is the most likely outcome is that it's going to be her. Because you can't be the guy who, like if Gavin Newsom says, I'm going to run against her, now you're the guy running against the first black female presidential candidate. You're doing so on a 4-month campaign. Like, I don't think anybody's going to do that.
I don't think it has anything to do with identity politics. I think it has mostly to do with the fact that Democrats are very scared about a Trump presidency, so they don't want to show any like cracks. They just want to act like they're unified.
You would get crushed if someone ran against her, I think.
I maybe not necessarily. I don't know. I mean, I think what we're seeing right now is most of the Dems just falling in line and be like, yeah, go Kamala. I was always in favor of Kamala. Although it makes me sad that Biden dropped out because I was really enjoying the Democrats, especially the ones online who were saying like, how dare you say all these negative things about President Biden and about his mental acuity. And then they were turning, the libs were going like MAGA on the media. The libs were starting to say like Washington Post, New York Times, Politico. the lamestream media is making up stories talking about how our president is mentally compromised. And they were like completely throwing out the fake news. And that was fun to watch, to see them play those same hits.
A month ago, they were saying it was completely fake news. All these videos of him, they were cheap fakes. They were this, that, and the other. And now he's out. So he went from he's actually awesome. He's completely fine. He does calculus in these meetings with us. You wouldn't believe it. Then it was the Democrats going to him saying, we're going to ruin you if you don't drop out. And now he's a hero for dropping out.
I don't think there weren't too many Democrats that were publicly saying,
he dropped out now because Pelosi told him it's about to be the hard way.
I think he started to lose fundraising. I think there were some donors that were threatening to withhold money. And I think Schiff, he came out like last week and officially said like, I think Biden should step aside for the good of the party. There were a few people that were going at him, but for the most part, everyone was very afraid to say anything.
Yeah, but publicly, none of them said it.
But he had the private meeting with Pelosi and Schumer several days ago, and that's when it happened, because they were about to go nuclear.
That's my dream blunt rotation right there.
Yeah.
Biden, Pelosi, Schumer.
Oh, yeah.
Kicking back.
But it's currently Monday at 12:25 p.m. Central Time. If he hadn't said anything by 7 o'clock, I'm my conspiracy brain is working.
You think Hillary snuck into the Oval Office?
I don't know what's going on, but would you not agree? It's shocking that for the first time since, I don't even know how long ago, a president has dropped out, not seeking a second term, and he hasn't said anything. We haven't seen him.
Yeah, it's kind of shocking. I would expect for him to say something, but at the same time, the reason why he's dropping out is because mentally he's not all there.
For sure.
So it's probably going to take him a while to put something together to be able to even make a speech like that, which is, it's ridiculous that we got to this point. And the DNC is nobody to blame but themselves.
1000%. And that's my question. What are you expecting to see from him, Big T? Like, what is it that
come out and say what you had in that note? Like, you just got to say something.
But why do you want to see it? You've seen him stumble through teleprompters.
Well, I'm not convinced he may not be alive. We don't know.
You think he's dead?
I don't think he's dead.
Okay.
We don't know. We haven't seen him.
So what's the play? Like,
he's got COVID, right?
I want to know if he knows.
Man's just got COVID.
He may not know that he's dropped out.
All right, Big T. I think that I think everyone in America, for the most part, with the exception of like the 10% blue non people that were going against the fake news media for reporting. Yeah, they're reporting very dishonest and nasty things about President Joe Biden's mental health. I think, except for those 10%, we can all agree that it's a good thing that Joe Biden in his current state isn't going to be seeking office for another 4 years, right?
Yes.
Okay. So given that, I've seen a lot of response from Republicans who are now mad at Democrats for replacing Joe Biden now.
Well,
and they're gonna
politically inconvenient.
They're gonna sue to try to keep him off the ballot or keep the new person if that's Harris. If that's
this should have been done a year ago.
I don't know exactly when it should have been done, but it's clear that he should not be running for 4 more years.
They shouldn't have ran Biden in the first place. That's what the progressive wing of the left is saying now. Like, this is y'all's fault. And then now, that's my fear of this election. My fear of this election is that the hard left, who very rarely is moved to vote for moderate Democrats such as Joe Biden, they're extremely infuriated because now you took away the democratic process of voting for your
election deniers. Yep.
No, that's not election deniers. That's literally if they just appoint. That's how are you going to bestow upon somebody the nominee without having the democratic wing of your country vote for them in? Like that's what's frustrating about this as a left-leaning person in America. But it's also always what we see the DNC to be.
Yeah.
And so the established DNC is literally what they did to Bernie.
2016, when they basically said she's going to be the nominee whether or not you like it.
Yeah, and this is why we, Big T, separate ourselves from Democrats. Like, I'm further left than Democrats. And so now the Democrats are saying they're playing bully ball, they're playing fascism, they're going, this is the nominee. And on the left, this is why people on the far left are saying, yo, we're tired of placating to y'all's bullshit. We're tired of placating to this strong arming of the Democratic Party. So because of what's happening in Gaza, because of all of everybody else's issues with Joe Biden, people are saying you're not going to get my vote from the left anymore until you do better, DNC. And I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but it's looking. I follow a lot of left-leaning people, looking like that's what's going to happen. I don't know though. We'll see.
So you think like people are uninspired for Kamala?
Oh, 1,000%.
Because now this is a very online take of me, but I mean, people are, I see, just by virtue of the fact that she is alive, they're like, oh, we're reinvigorated.
Yeah. So I think you have blinders on, because like I think when you hear me and him say we're not Democrats, like you hear that and be like, yeah, you guys are just Democrats. I don't think you understand. There's a real party split. There's like people who are farther left than establishment Dems. That's where me and Eric lie. And that section, I'm probably a little further left than PFT, but like that section is extremely fed up. We're talking about people who will never vote for Kamala, will never vote for Joe Biden again, specifically because of what's going on in Gaza. But in a lot of different policies that Joe Biden espoused, that he didn't follow through with. People that critique the left from the left. That's what I'm talking to you. There's a huge faction of that. It's the people that I know. I don't know if you've heard this rhetoric, because I think you follow a lot of like moderate Dems. It's the people of the left that get blamed by moderates for Hillary not being in office. They're saying you never Hillary people are the reason why we got Trump in the first place. It's those people. I don't think you know that there's a.
No, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
It seems like yesterday was one of the best fundraising days in the history of the Democratic Party. Like,
Yeah, because the establishment.
I don't
and
know what percentage of what you're talking about, Arian, is what you would guess is the percentage of the Democratic electorate, but
It's a smaller percentage of the left wing. I do agree with that, but it's a growing faction that is very, it's prevalent. It's here. It's that, and to me, if the Democrats really want to win, they'll play ball with them, but they don't. They're saying you guys are too radical. You guys want people to have health care. Fucking crazy ass.
the Democratic Party and the DNC, they've positioned themselves to be like somewhere on the political spectrum, slightly to the right of Bruce Springsteen and slightly to the left of Ronald Reagan. That's where most of the Democratic Party is. They're a party that cares to they like to pretend like they are culturally progressive, but at the end of the day, they're supporting a lot of the same people and the top 1% that the Republicans support.
Great way to put it. Great way to put it.
And they it's like when they paint the rainbow flag on bombs, and they're like, we have more female pilots that are dropping JDAMs.
Because people forget, like, you hear Democrats now, like Joe Biden is the most progressive president we've ever had. Like, technically, you're not wrong, but like politically, we evolve as a country, right? But it wasn't moderate Democrats that got Joe Biden there. It was progressive leftists that have been saying, like, if you look at the 2008 ticket in Obama and Joe Biden, what they were running on, they were arguing about, is it okay to make gay marriage legal? Like, those are the conversations being had by Democrats. And who was pushing the Democrat? There was the leftists saying, "Yo, everybody should have equal rights." All that was what the radical left was considered back then. So now we're having different conversations because what left is changing, and that's the difference.
I'm excited for the Kamala content, though. I think she's going to give us some real gems.
Oh.
Her speeches were.
Can y'all explain to me this coconut shit? I missed it.
You've seen that clip.
No,
You
I
think
haven't.
you just fell out of a coconut tree?
It's one of her most famous.
Yeah, so I don't get.
So,
I see all
she
the
said
emojis.
one time, "Do you think you just fell out of a coconut tree? We exist in the context of all of which that is and what came before us." And she like cackles after she said, "You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?" And so then people started posting coconut emojis to like as their support for Kamala.
Boobs?
Wait.
No.
Hold on.
No,
What?
Oh, that's why I assumed
Bog.
coconuts.
no, it's because she had
She
the
fell out of
coconut
the
thing.
coconut
Okay,
tree.
got it.
Her other one, have you seen the 4-minute video of her saying what can be unburdened
Yeah,
by what has been?
That's my favorite. That's my favorite banger
Yeah.
that she likes to drop.
78 times.
Yeah. It's just word salad. Doesn't mean anything.
Okay,
But-
I'm gonna watch this really quick because I haven't seen it. Hold on, let me watch.
I want your live reaction to the coconut tree.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
Okay.
I can't believe you've never seen that.
So I've never seen that. So aside from the goofy laughing, what she said is actually, I don't mind what she said. You exist all in which.
Well, it's a very difficult sentence to follow.
And she has
I get
different
what
like
she's saying.
small variations of that line that she uses all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we exist in the presence of all that we have been and all that came before us, unburdened from the future of what will be. Like she sometimes sounds like I don't know, like she's just freestyling.
What's the passage of time one?
I forget. She always talks about those.
Oh, I
like,
found it. Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time.
All facts,
Facts.
Big T.
Big
Those are all
facts.
facts, though.
I think the take of the week though goes to our good friend Aaron Sorkin, longtime Macrodosian, writer of The West Wing, America's Conscience. He wrote The Newsroom, I believe, on HBO. Listen to this take, Arian. You're gonna love this one. I promise.
I'm in.
Okay, so he did an op-ed in the New York Times. There's something the Democrats can do that would not just put a lump in people's throats with its appeal to stop Donald Trump at all costs unity, but with its originality and sense of sacrifice. So here's my pitch to the writers' room. The Democratic Party should pick a Republican. At their convention next month, the Democrats should nominate Mitt Romney. Nominating Mr. Romney would be putting our money where our mouth is, a clear and powerful demonstration that this election isn't about what our elections are usually about, but about stopping a deranged man from taking power. Surely Mr. Romney, who doesn't have to be introduced to voters, would peel off enough Republicans to win, probably by a lot.
That's fucking hilarious, dog.
This is the perfect Aaron Sorkin op-ed. Like, this is what he's always been about.
That shit's funny as hell, dog. That's satire, correct?
No, this is real. He meant this, and I'll do him one better. I think the Democrats should nominate George W. Bush. Run it back again.
One more time.
Yeah, why not? Nominate Trump.
That's funny as hell, dog.
Just have Trump run as a Democrat.
All right, Mitt Romney's the Democratic nominee. Who's his VP?
The wet dream VP for the Aaron Sorkins of the world. Probably Joe Manchin. Probably the.
That'd be fucking perfect.
Yeah.
I saw that he was considering running.
Oh, was he for VP?
No, for president.
Okay. All right. Good luck, Joe.
I hadn't heard that one, but God help us if that's the case.
Yeah, it'd be. Usually that role would be filled by Joe Lieberman from Connecticut, the Democrat that turned into an independent. He was Al Gore's running mate back in 2000, but he's like very much. He's basically a Republican that had to run as a Democrat to win in Connecticut.
That shit's funny as hell, dog.
We have a poll out. Would you like to hear it?
Who's the poll from?
Public policy polling.
Okay.
Trump up 6 on Harris in Pennsylvania, up 8 in Arizona, up 2 in Michigan, up 1 in Wisconsin.
Okay. It's probably too early to really get, because we haven't heard Joe Biden say anything. We haven't heard Kamala do like a big "Here I am, I'm Kamala." So that would probably change after whatever those addresses are. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be a good thing for Dems or a bad thing. I think it's better for the country that Joe Biden's not running.
1,000%.
I think it's good for Democrats also. I mean, just she's not a dead person.
Yeah.
Now it is amusing to me that she was maybe the worst primary candidate they had last time, and now everybody's lining up to. We love her.
Yeah, she was very unpopular. We have the opportunity to have the first dude in the history of our country. Her husband, Doug, right?
Yeah.
First Doug.
First Doug. Being the first dude would rock. That would
That'd
be a great
wild,
job.
man. That'd be wild. Yo, you know what's crazy? You'll appreciate this, Eric. I was looking at this old clip of George Bush, W. And it's just wild what we're now used to. You listen to that dude talk, because during the time we were like, yo, he's a fucking idiot. Can't string together sentences, right? But then you go listen to him now because of what we have. Dog, he's talking history. He has very strong, policy points.
Was it the one
very
talking about like
coherent.
nativism?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that clip.
That was
going
circulating.
around.
I was like, holy shit. Am I just misremembering W, or have I been desensitized to any kind of...
No, because W did have his moments where it was like, what the hell is this guy talking about? I remember the first year that he was president, he spent a lot of time at the ranch before 9/11. He was like just always out in Crawford, Texas, clearing brush, and he was just kind of like working on a farm for a while. And the press was there, and they asked him, like, what are you actually doing out here? He's like, we've got some initiatives that we're going to be working on this afternoon. We've got some meetings, and we're going to have meetings discussing what these initiatives are going to be. He was like very impressed that he used the word initiatives to describe just like a thing they were working on.
No, I remember vividly, but I guess I just don't remember I don't know, the cohesive nature in which he put together words in this specific clip. I don't remember him being like that, and it could be just my cognitive bias from all the other bad stuff I remember about him. But it was refreshing to hear a president sitting there talk policy with constituents. It was kind of dope.
I've always said that George W. Bush would be an awesome hang. Like, he'd be a good friend. He'd be a great neighbor to have. You'd want to go over to his place for cookouts, hang out with the dogs. He seems like a good friend to have. Don't want him anywhere near the White House, but probably not a bad dude just in terms of hanging out.
Speaking of him, did y'all see this is now the first election since 1976 without a Bush, Clinton, or Biden on the ticket?
That's kind of wild.
And I saw if you throw in Kennedy, it's since like 52 or something, except for 2. There were 2 years, 76 and some other one where there wasn't a Kennedy.
So 80 and 84
were Reagan Bush.
We had Bush as vice president. 90 we had Bush as president. 94. 88 Bush as president. 92 we had
Bush and Clinton.
96
Clinton.
Clinton. 2000
W.
2004 W. And then
08 and 12 Obama Biden.
Yep.
16 Hillary.
Yep.
20 Biden. And then it would have been 24, but he
It's like that was it that Brady, Manning, and Roethlisberger thing? I think it was
yeah. The AFC just dominated, yeah. Wild times to be an American. Go democracy.
Okay, total pivot. Unless y'all have anything else to add.
I have one more. I had a question for y'all.
Shoot. Yeah.
I was talking with some friends yesterday, and we were discussing wanting to have a presidential election where if the person that you didn't want to win won, you wouldn't be like distraught over it.
Mm-hmm.
And we were discussing when was the last election where that was the case. And I was curious what y'all would say to that.
Distraught?
I'm okay. You can go take it.
I was just going to say, like, I've never been distraught after an
well,
election.
but that you wouldn't lose sleep over it. You'd be like, oh, I wanted the other person to win, but that's fine.
I'm kind of numb to the process, the presidential process, where it's like I don't lose sleep, because I just assume that everyone who's running for president is going to be a dickhead in their own way.
So
I guess that's fair, but
yeah, like I don't root for politicians like fans, because you'll be disappointed. That's just how it's going to be. What about you, Big T?
I mean, I don't know. I haven't been around for that many where I was, able to understand what's going on.
Were you distraught when Obama got reelected?
I mean, I didn't want him to win.
Yeah.
But I was also 15, so.
Yeah. What about you, Arian?
Well, that's interesting. Why didn't you want him to win if you didn't know what was going on?
Well, no, I understood what was going on in 2012. But that's only 12, 16, 20. That's only 3 elections.
I feel you, man. For me, like I'm not gonna be distraught because honestly, if Republicans win, it doesn't really affect me personally. Actually, it probably benefits me a little bit more. And so, like personally, but like from like a caring about humanity perspective, I'll shed a thug tear for it. But other than that, like you gonna live, and as long as you keep living, things are not gonna go your way. You just gotta keep it pushing. It is what it is. Like,
but things have been divided for a long time, very long time, like forever. What we're going through is nothing new. Like this shit goes back to at least like just post World War II. I would say the nation has been pretty divided.
You think this level?
I don't know. It's hard to say. Anytime you're living through something, you think it's always the biggest deal ever. That's how humans always are about things. But what we've seen has happened before, as Kamala would say. The context of the past has brought us to the present through the passing of time.
Hey,
I'm
man,
sure.
I like how you mashed them both together. That was kind of lit. I like that.
I'm sure the internet probably exacerbates the perception of things, but I mean, it does seem like.
Think about it like this, though, bro. When you woke up this morning, Big T, you brushed your teeth, got out, put your drawers on, did your thing. You ain't running to no libs. You ain't running to no trans vote. You ain't running to nobody that you would
No
politically
libs in this
opposite.
office?
You didn't have no political conversation that
Can't
stifled
throw a
your
rock
day.
without hitting one.
Yeah, but there's no political conversations that ruined your day. There was nobody trying to take your rights or your guns or your Bible or whatever the case, right? A lot of this dialogue exists online and in people's heads. Are there things that and policies that affect people? Sure, of course. But for the most part, people go on about their day trying to make their lives better for themselves and their families. And these ideological wars that we all fight through legislation can get people riled up. And sometimes it plays out with things like protests and shit like that. But for the most part, you ain't really gonna be affected like that.
I agree with that mostly.
For the most part, people are just really mad at their phones.
Yeah.
Like you pick up your phone, you look at it for a little bit, and you get pissed off. And you put it back down, and then your day is fine.
I should update y'all on this.
That's also a pretty
go
privileged thing to say. It's like, yeah, I don't have to deal with that much stuff where policy decisions directly affect my day to day. Besides, like maybe gas prices if we're in a war overseas or something like that. But yeah.
I was going to caveat that with like I don't want that to come off sounding like it is a very privileged position in which I am a benefactor of for sure. But there are people that these policies in this legislation that people are fighting these ideological wars, but they do affect your day to day. And people are living check to check and grinding, and there's some people that are hurting. So I don't want to like minimize what people are going through, but for the most part, especially you, Big T, you chilling.
Yeah. I was going to tell y'all I did call my mom again about an hour after the news broke, jokingly, because I was like, I am certain. She
knows, yeah.
Because like they went to church, they'd probably just gotten back home. Surely she is seen. She didn't answer, called me an hour later, and my parents had taken a nap when they got home from church, and they did not know for another 2 or 3 hours.
You're breaking all sorts of news to them.
Well, so she had seen by the time she called me back, but yeah, they were unaware once again.
That's awesome.
Are they on any social
for them?
Yeah, my mom is on Facebook. I don't know if my dad is. I think he has one, but doesn't use it.
So randomly, I don't know, about a few months ago, maybe I've said this before, but my pops started sending me TikToks, bro. I'm like, what the fuck are you on TikTok for? And it's just mad. Like, Pops can get on a little conspiratorial side of things, man. He's sending me some wild TikToks before, man. So, but it's wild to see my Pops on an app that I don't even frequent. I only download it because my kids send me funny stuff every now and then. And I open it up.
Oh, I got a question. So I think, Mad Dog, you occasionally log into my TikTok account.
Yeah. Wait.
Why am I always getting notifications saying Donald Trump Jr., who you have recently interacted with, has just made a new post?
I swear to God, I've never seen Donald Trump Jr. on your TikTok
Big
page.
T, have you ever accessed my TikTok account?
Wouldn't know how to do it if I wanted to.
Because my suspicion number one was going to be Big T got in there somehow.
Now, that could be I sent the group Donald Jr. TikTok maybe a week ago.
Yes, you did.
Yeah,
Okay.
And then, so if Madeline clicked on it from your account.
Or if you clicked on it, PFT.
Hang on, I'll tell you if it said, because usually it says who viewed the TikToks you sent.
Okay.
Yeah, PFT, I'm going to be so real. I don't like peruse your TikTok.
No, it's fine if you do. I'm just curious because like I've gotten probably 8 or 9 of these notifications in the last couple weeks,
So funny.
and it's all Donald Trump Jr. And I'm like, what is Mad Dog doing?
No, not that.
Is she sliding? How boy crazy is she?
I'm
Is she
sliding
sliding into Don Jr.'s
DTJ.
DMs? He's he has a girlfriend, Mad Dog.
Yeah,
Kimberly
and a
Guilfoyle.
daughter who spoke at the RNC. No, I don't think Donald Trump Jr. is who I'm going for on your TikTok in any.
Hold on, was that the dude that was like,
that my daughter is sexy?
he
Yeah,
said
that is
the
the
weird
dude.
oh,
thing.
what the fuck was that,
Yeah,
yo?
no, not my type. Not my type.
Yeah, man said
In any capacity.
I'm trying to look sexy like you talking to his daughter.
Crazy.
That's a wild thing to say, bro. That
And
shit
posted
weird.
it himself.
He posted
Yeah.
it. Hey man, that shit crazy as hell.
The RNC was trippy too. It was so like Hulk Hogan getting up on stage, ripping his shirt off,
That rocked.
and then Trump talking. He was playing the hits. He was just
The Kid Rock song wasn't for me.
no.
But
Not many of them are. I mean, have you ever like heard a Kid Rock song other than the Cowboy joint? 'Cause
Oh,
that,
yeah.
that shit kind of goes. But other than that,
All summer long,
see,
we
I
were
wouldn't even.
smoking funny things. We were trying funny things.
So there's this cartoon going around that popped up on my timeline of Kid Rock, and it's like a little story about how he grew up like this little rich kid, and he wanted to be known so bad, and he wanted to like fit in that he started dressing and acting like a whatever the case may be. And it's funny. You ever seen it?
I haven't seen that.
I'm gonna
No.
send it. You'll love it, dog. You'll love it. I'm gonna send it to you.
Yeah, Trump had his the teleprompter going. He had a speech that he was ready to give, and then you could just see the twinkle in his eye. He's like, "I'm just gonna start going off about people." Talk about Jason Aldean's wife. That was great. Jason's here, great country music star. I like his wife a lot better, but that's okay.
He's so weird.
No, it was. I mean, it was classic Trump. It was he was feeling himself.
Did he unite the country like he said he was going to?
He had a couple lines in there about like Democrats. I'm reaching out to you. Doesn't matter who you are. I want to make this country great. It was just a classic Trump speech. Then he started rambling and talking about like the leader of Hungary and Kim Jong-un. He said that Kim Jong-un misses him, which was kind of cool.
He seemingly went off script
He went-
about
yeah.
20 minutes in.
Yeah, he went off, and then I don't think he ever came back. But that's why we watch Trump speeches, right?
Right.
He was very moist. I don't know who his powder foundation guy was, but he was a very moist former president up on stage.
Can I ask you guys a question about politics? I saw a couple weeks ago that Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin were hanging out.
Yeah.
Do you think that with everything happening, like they're laughing at us a lot and like looking at us being like they're weak right now, and then they're gonna like start nuclear war?
Or do you think that like Putin is looking at America laughing?
Yeah, like do you think with all of this I don't even
chaos?
know chaos, yeah, they're like this is their weakest point. This is when we strike. Is that a possibility?
I don't think that they're like planning a war against the United States because we would wipe the floor with
We would?
North Korea or Russia. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Russia's military, they stink. But I think that
they're putting up a fight. Ukraine is putting up a fight against them.
yeah, and they don't even have F-16s yet.
Okay.
Just imagine what's going to happen after they get F-16s, Mad Dog.
Got
Talk
it.
that plane shit, PFT.
Right.
Talk
Yeah.
that plane shit.
Okay, permission to go off real quick about the one part of the Donald Trump speech made me a little bit upset.
Sure.
He was talking about how we were going to do an Iron Dome in the United States, like Israel has.
Oh shit.
That's just, it's impossible. There's too much border. There's too much. You can't have an Iron Dome. Our coastlines and our borders too long. But what he's talking about is like intercepting nuclear missiles that might be shot at the United States. We already have that. We've got intercepting defense missiles, things like that. They're not perfect, so maybe he's talking about just strengthening that a little bit. But to have the Iron Dome like Israel has, not possible given how much coastline and border. Also, like Canada is going to be shooting rockets into Minneapolis. I don't know. I don't know what he was getting at with that. But that, as a fan of aviation, and missiles, I guess I'm a fan of missiles. As a knower of missiles,
Yeah, that's a better word.
that made me upset.
Don't fuck with missiles, bro.
Don't fuck with missiles, Don. But I guess maybe what he's probably doing is talking about just strengthening our missile intercept technology and then saying, okay, this is my Iron Dome. That's probably what he's talking about. Also, shout out to John Rothstein, because right after Biden dropped out,
He did the thing.
he did the thing that we needed as a country. Source: Northwestern will host Montana State on November 19th as part of its 2024-2025 non-conference schedule. Chris Collins against Matt Logie. Thank you. That's perfect.
We might need to go to that game as the John Rothstein Joe Biden game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a perfect game. Northwestern, Montana State.
Love it.
Nobody gives a shit about that, but he dropped that after.
And then he put the coaches' names, like people are like excited for the matchup.
Well, I could tell that he didn't really have anything to build off that with, because usually he would say like Chris Collins against Matt Logie. the teacher becomes the student or
Right.
something like that. If there's any sort of tie-in, he just said their names, just the facts.
Yeah.
Thank
Wait,
you, John. though.
I don't know what y'all are talking about. What are y'all talking about?
So John Rothstein, he's a basketball robot. He reports on college basketball. That's all he cares about. That's all that he knows. And usually when there's any sort of big breaking news happening, or if there's like a great NFL game being played or something that everyone's talking about at that time, he will drop like a schedule announcement for 2 college basketball teams that nobody cares about. And during the Trump assassination attempt, we were saying that we were hoping that he would do something like this. Like when everybody is like, oh my God, Trump just got shot in the head. What's going on? That he would say like Washington State has scheduled Florida Atlantic for 2025. And he would announce that. But he actually did this right after Biden dropped out with Northwestern Montana State.
That's funny though.
Yep.
Do you think he thought to himself, like, do you think he knew?
So my theory is that he sat on this one because it's too perfect. Northwestern Montana State, it's too perfect. And I think he was waiting for some sort of big news to happen because nobody's going to scoop him on this news.
Right.
Nobody cares about this except for John. And so he had that in his back pocket for the next like big political situation. And then he would drop that. In which case, well done. You played it perfectly, John.
Montana State's so perfect for that.
Yes, it is.
Just a school that, like, are they the Bobcats? I think they're the Bobcats, but even I'm not sure. Nobody knows who Montana State is.
Let's see who they are. Montana.
I can see the logo. They're either the Bobcats or the Wildcats, something like that.
Montana State Bobcats.
Let's go. Montana's the Grizzlies. I know them.
Yep. And Wyoming Cowboys.
Well, yeah, Wyoming, yeah. They're FBS.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you, John. We appreciated that. Jumping into Big T's sheet that he sent over.
It was mostly just Joe.
Where the hell is Joe Biden? When do you think he talks? When do you think we get a video from Joe?
I don't know. It should have been yesterday.
You really want one?
I find, you don't think it's odd?
No. You saw him stutter his way through a presidential debate for the world to see.
Well, he did a little 5-minute thing from the Oval Office after Trump got shot that he almost got through. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I almost got the.
Yeah.
I think it's like if you've ever seen anybody with the mental decline of whatever disease that he has, because we don't know if it's Alzheimer's, dementia, or just whatever. Like when you see the signs, it deteriorates rapidly, and you go down like 1 week. There's a difference.
Well, didn't his brother say we're enjoying the time we have left with him?
Is that what he said?
I think so.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
I
think
think we need to see nothing from him.
Joe was
Right off
probably.
into the sunset.
My guess is he was upset. He didn't want to drop out. He wanted to keep running, and he had some difficult conversations either with his family or with other people in the DNC or the Democrats in general. And then he's in a bad mood, and he didn't feel like making a statement. That's my guess as to what happened.
So, Arian, would you, if he wasn't in public for the next 5 months, would that bother you?
Not at all. I prefer my politicians behind the scenes anyway. I don't need you tweeting me. I don't need you talking to me. Make us known, or make it known that you have whatever legislation that you sign into law and what you're planning to do. I don't need the speeches. I don't need the public service. Fuck all of that shit. Because it's all, what does it do? What good does it do anybody? Like, it doesn't do anybody any good.
So hear me out. This is why England, low-key, has a good idea. They got the
show
royal
puppet.
family that they do for like all the pomp and circumstance, the hosting, all that weird shit. And then they have politicians that do the work behind the scenes.
I think I'm okay with that.
But those politicians give press conferences and stuff like that.
They do, yeah. But all the extra stuff is like reserved for the monarchy.
Yeah,
and
but
don't get me wrong, like I don't want to be paying taxes to support some weird royal family that has
Agreed.
like, incest, and we're all supposed to celebrate them. I don't want to do that.
Do they spawn? They spawn from incest.
Oh, dude.
Oh, dude.
The royal family. They
invented it.
the bloodlines are murky.
Shit.
Their gene
Wow.
pool is a puddle.
Oh, bruh. What?
Yeah,
Well, I mean, if you're a believer in the Bible, we all spawn from incest.
that's true. What did they say? Like the blue bloods? That's because they were inbred. Is that right?
Is it really?
Blue Bloods.
Yeah, the term blue blood I think came from
Blue
because
Bloods.
they all had hemophilia because there was so much like incest and people marrying cousins that
Is this true?
for a
'Cause
long time.
I know the term, but I just didn't know that's the roots.
Well, I know for a long time people that were in the royal family they had a very high case rate of hemophilia where you bump and then you just don't stop bleeding for a week, and that's because of all the incest. And
The phrase blue blood originates from an old sentiment that aristocratic blood was blue, normally used to describe royal family members. Interesting.
That's nasty, dog.
so yeah, if we just had I don't know, just get a figurehead in there.
Yeah, a little, little USA mascot.
Yeah,
Parade
mascot.
around. Yeah,
That's
do
a good
all
way
the
to put it.
fucking waving. Yeah, do all that shit, and then give us briefings on. I think, yeah, motherfuckers too accessible, man. The 24-hour news cycle has murdered the public consciousness. I don't need to know every single day what's happening, but give me an update quarterly or whatever. I don't need to know this shit out there. It's just too much, dog. It's just too much content has to be filled to make stories up and drum up issues that don't need to be brought up.
I agree with that.
Real quick, you were right, but the concept likely originates in medieval Spain as sangre azul and is attributed to the powerful families of Castile. As part of their pure Gothic descent, they would claim to have never intermarried with another race by drawing attention to their pale skin, which made the blueness of their veins visible.
What a
Okay.
flex.
All right.
So that's where it
Pure,
comes
I
from.
never have slept with anybody outside my family.
Yeah, it's weird.
Shit nasty, dog.
It's very weird.
Oh, unrelated. All right, look. So last night, as I previously stated, I stayed up till like 3 in the morning binge watching Love Island.
That might be the funniest thing to ever come after the words "as I previously stated." Very
So-
You're making a formal declaration.
So I'll be watching it with my kids or my lady friend, right? So we be watching it. It's just fun it's fun to turn off the brain, a little escapism, right? It's funny. And it's extra toxic this season. So anybody that's into it, it's a good season to go at it. All right. And so after every episode, the new episode starts, and there's a little thing on the bottom right corner that says skip recap.
Yep.
And so lady friend goes, skip recap. And she was like telling me to do it, and she was fucking up, and I was laughing at her. She's like, you say it 5 times fast. And I tried to say skip recap 5 times fast, couldn't do it. Tried to get my kids to do it. We sat there for at least 10 minutes, everybody trying to do it. No, you fumble at least on the third one. And then I don't know if it's just a us thing. I want y'all to try this shit, though, to see if it's just us. Skip recap 5 times fast. Somebody do that.
So here's the thing, I'm
Skip recap. Nope.
I'm
see?
very confident I can do it, but now everybody's fucking up, so I feel like I shouldn't. But
All right, take a couple mental reps, then try
All right.
it.
that's what I was doing.
Yeah,
All right,
mental
here we go.
reps.
Here we go.
Yep.
Skip recap, skip recap, skip recap, skip recap, skip
Yeah.
recap, skip recap, skip recap, skip recap, skip recap, skip recap.
That's
I mean,
pretty
I got
good.
through 13.
Skip recap, skip recap, skip recap, skip recap, skip recap, skip recap, skip recap.
You know what you're doing, and I think
recap.
this is what you got to do. You got to think of it as you're saying one word: skip recap.
Yeah, skip recap.
But
Skip
then you're not
recap.
saying skip recap. You got to emphasize the read, which you guys are not doing.
I did
ran
that.
into this- We know it started to go to skip a recap. This is the point. This is what we were saying. When you say skip recap, you fuck up. I don't know what it is. Try it. Skip recap.
Skip recap, skip recap, skip recap, skip
You're gonna
recap, skip
slow, though.
recap.
You're going to skip recaps. Yeah. Skip recap, skip recap, skip recap, skip recap. It's just I
Skip
can't
recap, skip recap, skip recap, skip recap, skip recap, skip recap.
recap.
I mean, I got through like 20 the first time.
Okay, I'll give it to you, man. Big T did it. We was fucking up. It was a fun little family moment, though.
You know what they're starting to do though? There are so many options now. You can skip the recap, you can skip the intro to the show, and then you can also skip ads. So now there's 3 things that you can skip, like the coming attractions that they play sometimes before, like House of Dragon or whatever.
I always skip those.
Yeah.
I always skip the intro on any show except House of the Dragon, but I don't skip the recaps.
Yeah, the recaps.
I need the recaps.
They're sometimes helpful, but they got us used to just doing 1 skip, and now we're having to do 3 skips. So a lot of us get stuck. We hit skip recap, or we skip twice. We think we're all done, and the next thing you know, we've got the entire intro we have to watch. That's how they get
Hell
you.
in a handbasket.
That's how they get you. That's my issue as a voter.
That's your single issue voter.
Single
Has
issue
there-
voter. And also Also, make the intro music on The Office way more quiet. That thing comes on and it blasts at like twice the volume of the actual show.
Spoken like a man that falls to sleep to the show. That's what that
Yes,
sounds like.
yes, correct.
That sounds like. Has there been a more drawn out intro than Game of Thrones? That shit was excessive though. That was like 2 minutes long.
Well, but it rocks and it tells like it shows you the whole story of what's going on.
See, I think if you watched it while it was coming out, that makes sense. But when you binge watching it, that shit it's excessive.
Yeah, if you're watching it 5 times in a day. But if you
Yeah,
notice, like the map changes, so it shows you like if in that episode,
no shit.
yeah. So like if that episode is in Winterfell and King's Landing and somewhere else, those are the places that are on the map,
I did not know that.
and different stuff happens in the map.
Wow, I kept skipping it, thinking this is too much.
No, yeah, you got to watch it.
Oh shit! Look at you.
I was looking at a map of Westeros the other day. Looking at a map really helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Helps you like put everything into perspective. It's like,
Yeah.
oh shit, King's Landing's down here. I could see myself living there. Iron Islands don't look so bad.
Okay, speaking of, no, this is not what we're speaking about, but Harry Potter. All right. Yeah, speaking of castles, Harry Potter. So I went to Orlando this past my last little vacation, and so we wanted to binge watch all the Harry Potter. So that when we went to the Harry Potter place, like we were all like, the fandom was vibing. I got to 3. Harry Potter, it gets very. I didn't get to 4, but like the endings are kind of whack, are they not? Like, say number 2, for instance. Have y'all seen Harry Potter?
Never seen it.
Oh, well then I'm just speaking of it. Well then, Big T, you seen Harry Potter?
I've seen them. I don't remember much about them, but I did
Oh,
watch
this is
them.
gonna fall on deaf ears then. But for those that have, the ending to 2 was just so like. Have you ever seen like the any kind of movie where the storyline is pretty dope, and then at the end it's like, how you do that? The way he killed the little snake dragon thing was just kind of corny, man. I don't know, but since y'all didn't see it, it doesn't matter.
Never watched one. Never read one.
It's a pretty cool story, man. I don't hate it. It's a pretty cool story.
Have you seen the Harry Potter drill rap?
No, I haven't
I'll,
seen it.
I'll send it to you.
Okay. No, I haven't seen that one, man. Skip recap.
So according to the New York Post, this is interesting. Trump could potentially make his Treasury Secretary the CEO of BlackRock. That's wild.
It's
That would be a choice. I feel like that would, a lot of his supporters would be like, what the fuck? Right?
Ain't that? Wouldn't that be on par?
No, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised by it at all, personally. But I think a lot of people that support him, BlackRock has become a, I don't know what the right word for it is, but it's almost like a meme of if BlackRock is involved, that equates Democrat or liberal. But in reality, these private equity firms are just based off how much money they can make for themselves. They don't really give a shit about.
Really, I thought BlackRock was
ideology.
right leaning.
I think if you look at who their leadership is, they probably tend to vote more Republican than Democrat. But I think people on the right equate them, like a lot of the Silicon Valley leaders, they look at as being like the new woke liberal elite.
Got you.
But if anything, I think these companies a lot of times pretend to be like socially conscious when it comes to any sort of like cultural issue, just because they think it'll make them more money.
Yay to that.
Yeah, very
I
weird.
I went down a rabbit hole this morning. So when I was just kind of like scrolling, and I had to catch myself. So I went on this like going through this like tweet threads about how Elon and Mark Zuckerberg, I guess now. I didn't see this, but this is what the tweet said, that they're supporting Donald Trump. I was like, you should ask why. And it goes into deeper. You got a little deeper and it just keep going down. And then there was this one tweet that said the dancing Israelis. And I was like, what the fuck is that? It was a tweet underneath it that said, look up the dancing Israelis. And then there was a dude at some conference that said that to Charlie Kirk, right? The right wing dude. And I think it was Nick Fuentes was watching him do it and he got all excited. What the fuck is this? So I clicked on it, did a little bit more digging, and I guess the dancing Israelis is the conspiracy theory that Israel was behind 9/11. And I was like, whoa, I gotta back the fuck up out of this here tweet thread, dog. But then there was a dude that said there's unclassified document that the CIA did have on their website, but it was just too long to read, and I lost interest. But as is, you're just too much scrolling for the morning, man. So
Yeah, it's like shorthand for either Israel is behind 9/11 or Israel knew that 9/11 was going to happen and let it happen.
Yeah, I had never heard that one before. That was new one to me.
Yeah, I don't think that there's any truth to that. I think it was like one report where somebody saw people dancing on a rooftop and said that they were Israeli. And then here's the thing, during breaking news, whenever something major is happening, you get like 90% stuff that ends up not being true that's said on live TV because everyone's trying to make sense of what's going on. There's always, if there's a mass shooting, there's always a report of a second shooter, but there never is, or there very rarely is, because people hear a bunch of gunshots going off and they're confused. They're not used to being in that situation. They think the guns are coming from like multiple locations. It just happens all the time.
Yeah, no, I don't think I care enough to dig into that because there's like a whole document too from I think it was an FBI or FBI or CIA, but it's like too long. I don't want to read it.
I do want to know more about Saudi Arabia's involvement, though.
Yeah,
that's legit. All right, what else we want to get into? There was a big tech outage this weekend. Actually, I'm gonna hit up Jerry, see if Jerry's around because I know he's got some takes on that. But yeah, everything was down. Did you guys experience anything?
Nah, I was at the crib, but a bunch of the homies was saying that their flights was grounded and stuff like that.
But the airports were crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Is it fixed now? Right?
Yeah. Do we know what happened? I woke up and Twitter, there was a lot going on, so I logged off. There was a lot going on. People were saying banks are gonna get hacked. This is it. And one of my dog, Lil Duval, he's so funny. He be posted a lot of stuff, but he said something's gonna happen today. I feel it, but I don't know what. But I feel like we're not gonna be prepared for it. And I was busted out laughing. I'm like, that's the most ambiguous shit you could ever say. That was the sentiment. Like something's happening. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, something's happening. It was CrowdStrike, and a lot of companies use CrowdStrike. And my understanding, and I might be very wrong about this, is that CrowdStrike and a lot of like Fortune 500 companies in their IT departments, even ones that you think might be secure, they're starting to rely more and more on bits of software in their coding that are taken from open source places. So when they introduce those, there could be small security glitches or things that don't comport along with the operating systems that they're using, and they don't test them thoroughly enough. And this was a big fuck up where they might have used a piece of open source software that had not been officially tested for quality assurance. They import that, they go live with it without testing it, and fucks everything up. That's in like a layman's term that I'm probably getting wrong somehow, but that's my understanding.
So how does that fuck up like flights? I don't understand.
So companies that use CrowdStrike that are, I don't know. I'm kind of talking on my ass here, but somehow something to do with being Windows based. They all use software that, or if they're using CrowdStrike, the software that they get from CrowdStrike in an update might fuck up their computer's relationship with their operating system of Windows.
Okay. Yeah, because everybody was saying it was only a Windows problem and Mac users weren't really affected. And I had this computer that I used to stream and play Valorant on was Windows. So I booted it up to see if nothing happened. So I was like, this is not my business.
Yeah, because I don't think you don't use CrowdStrike on your home computer.
I don't think that. I don't know. Yeah, you're right.
They do like business to business. So if you're like in a relation, if you have CrowdStrike as one of your vendors, then then you would fuck up your operating system potentially.
Got you.
I
Okay.
think that's how it works.
Well,
But yeah, banks were down, airline traffic slowed to like almost a stop.
damn.
Do you think this is what Jerry's guy was talking about? I think this was the test.
Well, because Jerry's guy was Apple, right?
But I don't
Yeah,
think he
yes.
said it was specifically going to be an
40-year-old
Apple
man
thing.
with
Yeah,
Apple
bald guy,
divorce.
Chicago. But I don't think he specifically said it was going to be an Apple issue, just that something was coming.
I'm gonna try calling him real quick. Let's see if he's got any intel on this.
Hello.
Hey Jerry, you're on macrodosing right now.
Hey, what's up, Eric?
Hey, are you in the office?
Not right now, no.
Okay, I just want to know what you thought about the tech outage this weekend. If you'd heard from your guy.
It's kind of weird. He kind of went dark.
Interesting.
Yeah, he kind of went dark. So it's like, I don't know. I texted him once after it happened. Didn't get. He answered, but I didn't get much. And then I messaged him again, twice after that, and nothing. I don't know if he's traveling or I don't know. It's kind of weird.
What do you think happened?
I think it obviously was a cyber attack, but I don't think they admitted to that yet. But I do think it was probably a cyber attack. But I don't know, man. I think the big stuff's soon to come. I don't even think that was big.
Yep, this was the test, Jerry.
Yeah, this was just to see. Oh, okay. Let's see how frantic we can get these people, and then roll something bigger out, and then they'll probably do something one more time. And then probably closer to November, do something massive.
Do you think this had anything to do with the timing of Joe Biden stepping down?
No, I don't.
Okay. All
I
right.
don't.
That was going to be my question.
No, I don't. What do you think?
I don't know. It certainly was a massive one. Like airlines and
for
banks.
sure.
Banks going down was a concern.
Remember what he said about the cash, the guy?
Yeah.
Was he lying?
I don't know. Well, let me know if your guy gets back to you and he has any more intel. I know that I don't know if he was working with Microsoft or anything, but it sounds like it was a Microsoft problem.
All right, I'll keep you posted.
All right. See you, Jerry.
You got it, buddy.
Bye. Okay. There you have it. More to come.
Business-wise.
Business-wise. All right. Anything else you want to get into?
Man said he went dark.
Do we have any voicemails today?
We do. Do you want to do some?
You want to do a voicemail?
Yeah.
Let's do a voicemail. Then we'll have an interview coming up about the Mandela Effect.
If a girl ever don't respond, I'll be like, yeah, man, she went dark on me.
I thought you were going to say she went Mandela Effect on me.
She went Mandela Effect.
Because I know that when I talked, she was into me. She used to be into me. I know that. I remember it.
Yeah, shorty went Mandela, dog. I don't know what happened, man.
That's actually good. I like that.
Yeah, we should start doing that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, let's get into voicemails, and then we have an interview coming up with Robert Kevitt on the Mandela Effect.
Hey, Macrodosing crew. This is Quinn from Bentonville, Arkansas. My wife is due with our first child pretty soon here, and fortunately, my company has a generous leave policy. I'm going to have at least 12 weeks of paid leave on top of some PTO and sick time that I have saved up. So my question is, if you had that amount of time, 4+ months, aside from learning to be a great parent, what would you do with that free time? Any hobbies or interests that you think you would take up or continue on? So just looking for ideas. Thanks. Stay handsome. Stay gorgeous.
Can I answer first?
Yeah.
I don't know why he's asking. He's been gifted with the greatest gift anyone could ever receive, for obviously the birth of his child.
Oh, time off.
The timing of the time off. College Football 25 just came out. You have 12 weeks, brother.
Yeah.
I mean, I would rebuild a team from every group of 5 conference and win 3 national titles at each.
Yeah, that's the correct answer.
I mean, this is amazing.
It's the perfect time to have a child.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
And goes into football season.
Yeah, well, I mean, what else are you going to do? Read a book, write the classic American novel?
Nerd.
Yeah. No, you're going to play video games. Take up golf. I would personally play a lot of golf right now.
If you play
Summertime.
already, that'd be fun. If you haven't played before, that's gonna be a frustrating 4 months.
That would also be the worst timing ever because you would start to really enjoy golf.
Yeah.
And then at the
Ditch.
exact time that you went back to work, all you would be thinking about is golf.
Wife might not love that
Yeah, I
one.
was
too.
going to
Yeah.
say. I thought you were going to say leaving the kid.
Also leaving the kid. Yeah, that's true.
Newborn.
What are you going to do with a newborn?
Yeah, they can't.
I'm
hang.
telling you, bro. That's just a misconception, bro. You just keep them alive. That's it. You just got to keep them alive. There's not much else to it. But if I was Buddy, this is what I did when I first retired. Like the first like 2 weeks, I didn't do shit. Like 2 weeks, about one. I woke up when I wanted to wake up. It was a long ass vacation in my house, and it was just like a very satisfying fuck you to the world. Like I'm just gonna do me. Take time for you, brother. Enjoy yourself, and then find a hobby that you feel semi-productive on and have at it, man. There's nothing better than time off, bro.
As long as you keep the house spotless, then you can pick up whatever hobby you want.
Yeah.
That's true.
Because if the dishes start piling up, then you're going to have to curtail your gaming.
Oh, get some brownie points. Send your shorty to like a spa or something, right? Maybe like once a week. If it's in your budget. If it's not your budget, maybe you can do a little spa treatment. You know what I'm saying? But like, get her some feet rubs. You know what I'm saying? Some nice essential oils, candles. Relax the woman that's about to birth your child, man. She'll love you for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. Get in on that.
12 weeks.
That's
Unreal.
pretty good.
Yeah, that's
That
3
paid?
months?
That's wild. Thank you, Joe Biden, huh? Big T.
I don't know
Barstool
if
has
Joe
that.
Biden affected that company's specific policy.
It's a good policy, though.
That's
Barstool does have paternity leave. I don't think it's that long, but they
I think
definitely do.
Marianne Williamson actually ran on that. I love
Yeah.
her, by the way. She ran on a lot of paternal leave. What else? Shit. Daycare. Free daycare for new parents.
In Europe, don't you get like a year off?
Yeah,
lot more,
I think
yeah.
women do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot more. I don't know the exact date, but I know it's a lot more. Like here, like 3 months or 3 or 4 months. That's like what the fuck? Kind of where you work, right? But like over there, it's standard, which it should be.
You get 3 months off to do the most important thing you'll ever do as a human being? That's wild. Those sales calls aren't going to make themselves.
Hey, real quick, here's a critique of this podcast that I think it was on Twitter.
Shit.
Yeah, fuck me
read-
up.
But seriously, we have one of the coolest desks in the world, dog, and we never like showcase it in any kind of cool way. Somebody said that, and I was like, you know what? You're right, dog. That's a dope ass desk, and we don't ever really show that we have that desk. That's a fire ass desk.
We just do a MTV Cribs and it's just our desk.
Yeah.
Some kind of aerial view of like everybody sitting down, and like that would be,
Yeah. They
ha-
designed this room very small, so
yeah.
The desk is
we'll have
very
to do
big.
some reworking for the
Yeah,
camera.
not a
But
knock
yes,
on
we
y'all.
can
I'm
do
just
that.
saying it would be dope to showcase
No,
the actual
agreed.
desk, because I forget it just looks like a curved desk from my vantage point, but then you look at it, it's the question. It's a dope ass desk.
What about like a GoPro up there on that
Yeah,
end? And then
we could do that.
we cut into that a few times.
Mhm.
Oh,
I like that.
That might be good.
I like that.
Give people the perspective.
Yeah, it would definitely have to be mounted up on that wall, so a GoPro would definitely work.
That's a good critique. Fair critique.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Shout out to that guy or gal. Don't remember who said it.
We got another voicemail?
Yep.
And what's that number?
347-560-0401.
Give us a call,
Call us up.
especially if you have riddles.
I'm so bad at riddles, dog.
What's up, Macrodosing crew? This is Buddy from Spokane, Washington.
What's
I
up,
got
buddy?
a riddle for you with
Oh.
what I think's got a very satisfying solution. So, here it is. You're provided 8 identical balls and a measuring instrument. The measuring instrument is one of those balance scales where you can put objects on either side and it'll tell you which one's heavier. So, 7 of the 8 balls are equal in weight, but one of the 8, is defective and weighs slightly less. The goal is to find the defective balls with exactly 2 measurements. You can't tell by looking at them or holding them which one's heavier, but the scale will tell you. So, how do you do it? All right, love the show. Love all you equally. Bye.
Equally. That's nice. That's nice.
That shit was so genuine, Dutch. I love you all equally.
Maybe he loves one of us slightly less, and we have to
That's what
figure
I-
out
that's
which
what I
person.
got.
That's what the riddle
Yeah.
is.
He
That's
stuttered
what I-
a little bit.
That's right.
I don't want to
He
start
loves one of
something.
us slightly less, but he can't tell.
Okay.
I have the answer.
Okay. I'm just thinking off the top of my head here. You would start out by placing 4 balls on each side. That way you know you can narrow it down to at least it's one of these 4 that's a little bit lighter. And then to figure out which one of those.
Could you just keep doing that?
He
So
said
you
only
take
get
those
2
four-
men.
How many moves do you get?
2.
Oh, only 2
You
moves?
only get 2?
Yeah,
I
you
missed
only
that
get 2
part.
So then I would take the one of them is slightly less. Is
Yeah.
that what it is? Okay,
Yeah.
so then I would take all 4 of the balls off the heavy side because you know it's none of those. You throw them out, and then you split up the other ones and go 2 and 2. But then you only have a 50-50 shot, right?
Yeah, 50-50.
What if you divided them into
Oh,
Oh,
but
no,
then
no. That's what you do. You do 3 balls.
That's what I was
You
going to
take-
say.
Yeah, you take 6 balls, and then if they're even, no, that shit we still.
okay, wait, but here's what you do. Okay, so you do the 4 on each side. Then you can see which one is heavier. Then you remove all 4 of the balls from the heavy side. Then you take 2 and 2 and you split them up on either side. And then you see which one is heavier. And then
But now you've used all your moves.
no, but then as you take those balls off, you take them off one at a time on each side.
I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah, because
But
then
then you're still left with a 50-50.
no, because you take one ball off from each side, and then if the scale is perfectly
saying-
balanced,
I'm saying it's a possibility of you still having a 50-50. It's not a for sure thing because if you take the 2 off and the 2 that you're holding is the maybe light, maybe not light, and those 2 are equal in weight, it's going to stay there. Then you're still left with that 50-50.
No, because one of the side, it's only on one side. So I see what he's saying, but I don't think that counts.
yeah, because you take one off from each side, and then if the scale goes even, then you know that the one that you took off is the abnormal one.
Correct.
And if the scale stays,
but I don't.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
I don't
unbalanced.
think that counts.
Does that count, Mad Dog? Is that the answer?
So the answer,
Or should we
Is-
think about it more? Can you tell me if that's just
Yeah.
the right answer or not?
yeah, you're pretty much there.
Pretty much there.
Yeah,
am I missing?
I'm so bad at riddles. I don't fucking
Wait,
know.
so break it down. Break it down. You say your answer in full.
Okay. So you have 8 balls.
Yep.
You put 4 on one side, 4 on the other. And then you see which side is heavier. And then you
Wait, I thought you said 3 and 3.
No,
Or did
that's-
Arian
that,
say 3 and 3?
that was a suggestion that I threw
Okay.
out immediately when I said it.
Okay.
So I go 4 and 4 and I see which side is heavier. Then I remove those 4 balls. Then I split up the remaining 4, 2 and 2. And I see which side is heavier. And then I take one ball off from each side as I'm removing the balls. And then if
Okay, yeah, no.
I'm wrong?
Yeah.
Okay.
Arian had it closer.
Oh, so he went 3 and 6.
No.
He went 3 and 3.
Yeah.
So my original thought, I don't know if this is correct, but like, so you take the 3 balls on each side. No, because
So you're saying go 3,
Yeah,
3,
yeah.
2.
I don't know, man. I hate this shit, dog. I hate riddles, bro. Because it's like I don't know.
Arian's on the right track. You're getting caught up. You're being too hard on yourself.
Well, I think because if I have 6 balls, my original thought was like if I have 6 balls and they're even, I have a. But if they're not even, then
6 balls is the right start.
okay. 6 balls is right. So okay, let's say one side is uneven, then you take. Oh no!
Yeah, if one side is uneven, then
So then you have 3 balls.
Yeah.
But then I don't know how we get.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Then you remove
Do you know?
You
know
take
for
those
sure?
3 balls off, and then you take one of the balls off the other side, and you weigh the remaining 2.
Okay, wait. Yeah. So you do 3, 3, 2. You put the 3 and 3 on.
Yep.
If they're even, you know it's in one of the other 2.
Yes.
You take it, and then you've got it.
Yep.
If it's uneven, you take those 3, pick 2 of them, weigh them.
Yep.
If one is different, then
Then
you've
you
got
know
it. And if
Oh,
it's
They're the
not,
same,
then it's
then
the other
ball
one.
that you took out. Okay, got it.
You did
Good
it.
job, Arian.
Pressure.
Thank you. Well, I mean, it was like a group effort, man.
That was
you
a
know?
good group effort.
Yeah, we got there.
Yeah. That was it, though.
Okay, awesome job.
Okay.
All
One
right.
more voicemail?
Yeah, let's do one more.
Yeah, I fucking hate riddles, but they're satisfying when you get them right.
Those are hard because it's like visualization.
Yeah.
This
Einstein
is
fun
Garrett
joke.
from middle of nowhere, Kansas, and
Hey,
I was
Garrett.
wondering if you guys had something you hate, but you just can't explain why you hate it. You just do. For example, for no reason, I hate Timothy Chalamet.
Okay.
Rude.
Okay.
Also, shout out Arian. I hate dogs, but there's a good reason for that. But all right.
We're not going to say what the
Didn't
reason
give
is.
the reason. So now we can speculate.
I'm a
I was
cat.
waiting for it.
That's a good question.
I actually do have something I hate, and I don't really have a good reason. But it's like, okay, don't clip this. This is just for macrodosians, okay, that listen to the show deep into the show. Please don't clip this.
I won't clip it.
Jeremy Lin.
Okay.
Oh.
I don't know why. I don't like him. Not his personality. I've never seen an interview. I don't know. The way he played basketball, I cannot stand. I hate it. I don't know what it is, dog. I don't
You
know.
didn't
what
like
it
his
is.
game?
No. I just don't like it, dog. And the way he got praised, I was like, yo, he's not good. Relatively.
Well, he was really good for 3 weeks.
I wasn't though. That's what I'm saying.
No,
It
that was it was
bro,
cool.
I watched him after he cooked the Lakers, right? And I was like, there's something about this motherfucker that's just not good. And I know it. And he just had a nice little Cinderella run where he was hitting the luckiest fucking. It was unreal, dog. And I was right. He wasn't that good. But listen, I don't know the man. I don't got a problem with the man personally. But his game itself bothered me for some reason. Can't explain it. Just bothered me. I know y'all got some sports or something that you feel me on that. I don't know why. I don't like it. I don't like the way you do what you did.
I mean, that's what being a sports fan's about.
I agree.
Irrational hatred.
100%. It is very irrational.
Yeah. I think that's a decent answer. I don't agree with it, but I defend to death your right to say it, Arian.
Okay, that's a good American
First Amendment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate a lot of stuff, but I feel like I have a reason for all of it.
So irrational hatred.
Like I'm trying to think of all the stuff I hate, and I'm like, well, no, that's clearly why.
I'm a reasonable hater.
I'll keep thinking.
Okay.
I got a lot of these actually. I'm thinking about it.
Along the same lines as that guy, I don't like Benedict Cumberbatch.
Can I clip that?
Sure. I just don't like his name.
I don't even know who is that, bro.
He's an actor.
He's an actor.
You'd recognize him if you saw him. I
It's
think.
just a terrible name. Was he a 16th century king?
Literally.
Yeah.
Roast his ass.
I don't like the name Benedict, and
Facts.
I certainly don't like the name Cumberbatch.
I mean, you could be a 16th
He
century
sound-
peasant
dude-
as well.
Dude
with that
sounds like a firefighter in a children's book. Here's Benedict Cumberbatch
Oh,
with his
he's
trusty
fucking-
Dalmatian.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I fucking love Doctor Strange, man.
I've got
see.
one.
Shoot.
The reason is just I guess that I don't like it. That's the reason. I don't like having lights on in my house, anywhere. I don't like lights. So recording this show kind of
that's
really sucks.
Tough for you.
The bright lights, turn them off. Turn those lights
Yep.
down.
I play that so often you wouldn't believe it. I don't like having lights on unless it's pitch black outside, and then I'll turn on a little lamp. But generally, no
I
lights.
do agree with overhead lights. Like lamp lighting is better than overhead lights.
If someone turns a light on when it's light outside, I lose my mind. I go ballistic.
Do you open up the blinds? You let the sunlight?
No, I keep the shades down. I don't even like
Hey.
the sun coming in.
You don't like the sun?
I'm with you. I have blackout shades in all my house, bro. I do not like light in my house. Now I'm not as staunch about lights in general, but I do like pitch blackness in the daytime. I do like that.
It's light outside. You got plenty.
Oh,
I'm with you.
pitch black in
I'm
the
with you.
daytime.
Oh, wow. Benedict Cumberbatch hit and injured a cyclist while speeding down a country lane on the Isle of Wight in his 4x4 Lamborghini Euros.
Sounds like you have a reason to hate him.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it's on site.
What
If I
did you
ever see it.
Google to find that?
I just went to his Wikipedia page. I was looking for
Man.
controversies.
Google alerts for Benedict Cumberbatch.
Dude, can you imagine hitting a cyclist in your Lamborghini whilst speeding down a country lane on the Isle of Wight? Is he the most British person ever?
He might be.
He might be, with the name, the look.
Yeah.
It says, I looked up his name, CBE next to it. What does that mean? Something of the British Empire?
Commander of the Order of the British Empire.
Yeah, get fuck out of here, Benedict Cumberbatch.
This is awarded for having a prominent but lesser role at a national level or a leading role at a regional level.
Fuck
Oh,
outta
so he's
here.
not even a knight. He couldn't even get knighted. He got the junior knight.
Yeah. Junior Knight, Twilight. I think I would say Benedict Cumberbatch. He's on my list of things I irrationally hate. I don't like Joseph Gordon-Levitt either.
Oh my God!
Wow.
I don't know. It's irrational.
I can see that.
He's got the smug,
A little too serious.
the smug little face. Yeah,
500 Days of Summer.
his smug little face. Anne Hathaway.
Oh
Yes.
what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
go off,
Yeah.
Mackenzie.
Yeah.
No, now that's crazy.
Billy Eichner has like this bit he hates Anne Hathaway, and he just goes off on how like annoying she is.
I think she reminds
I love
me
her.
too much of girls that I knew in high school. Like very serious drama people.
I love her.
I don't know.
We'd probably get along great.
Has Anne Hathaway ever made a bad movie? I'm thinking through them. They're all bangers. Princess Diaries.
Princess Diaries 2.
Obviously, Devil Wears Prada.
The Intern.
The Intern.
Oh, love The Intern.
One of my all-time
Such a great
faves.
movie. Also,
Outstanding movie.
great airplane movie. The Idea of You, her most recent.
Yep.
She's a big Danny Woodhead fan, so maybe I'm just getting territorial. Where
what?
I see a competitor. I remember there was a picture of her one time walking down the street rocking a Danny Woodhead Chargers jersey.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
What's the movie where she has
Bride
sex with Jake
Wars?
Gyllenhaal?
Love and Other Drugs.
like all
Yeah.
of them. It
Yeah.
seems like they've done that in every movie.
Love and Other Drugs.
Yeah.
Every movie I've ever not watched is a rom-com with Jake Gyllenhaal and Anne Hathaway.
One Day.
That one's so sad.
Oh, Interstellar?
She ruined it.
That's
Oh, you're
crazy. Ocean's
bugging.
8. Les Mis. Dark Knight Rises. She has a great collection of
Oh yeah, I
Anne
hated her
Hathaway's
in Dark Knight Rises.
What was she in that?
She was like Catwoman or something. Something stupid.
Oh, Dark
She is
Knight Rises.
Catwoman.
I'm thinking of Dark Knight. I'm tripping. Okay. Is this some stupid?
Yeah, she played some stupid role that everyone hated.
I hate when people say as well instead of to.
I hate that as well.
I don't know if anyone watches Selling Sunset, but Davina from Selling Sunset. She's just the worst.
Okay. What about any foods anyone irrationally hates? I'm not talking about just hates, but
Ranch.
and it has nothing to do with the flavor. It's just the
I
vibe.
I don't like the flavor, and then also I hate when people. I feel like very controversial, but I hate when people ride for ranch of like they are the PR team for ranch. and
Yeah,
they're like,
no, that's fair.
I
That's
have
crazy,
to.
'cause
I
I
have
feel
to
like
put me
that's
as
a
a Midwest
Midwest thing,
Yeah.
and like I have. Oh, you don't carry ranch, so you can put it on your pizza and on everything. No, I don't.
Oh,
That bothers me.
The
I
Weeknd.
hate when people ride for ranch like that.
Oh, I hate him.
You hate the
Who?
weekend.
The singer.
So do
I actually think he makes good music. I just don't like
No.
it. It's
Yeah, I don't
weird.
like his vibe either.
I don't like his music, and I think it's good music. Does it make sense? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's not bad. It's just I don't like it, and I don't like his voice. I wish him well though. Everything with me is blessed.
I've got a food one along the lines of Madeline's.
Yeah.
Finding a new. I think this is similar to my French toast thing. I think all these restaurants are in a competition to see who can put the most adjectives before the word aioli. They're all just, this is a spicy garlic herb encrusted aioli. And like, they're obsessed.
Say mayonnaise, bitch.
Yeah, they're obsessed with having an aioli with 8 words in front of it.
And when one of those words is what is it, an adjective? If they were to say like lemon pepper aioli and they make it lemon peppered aioli.
Oh, that would send me over the edge.
Yeah. Yeah, you toss the ED on there.
I'd yell at somebody.
Yeah. Salted aioli. All right, this is good. Just let it all out. Let the hate out.
Yeah, it feels good actually.
Let
Okay.
us know what you hate.
Yeah, tell us what your most irrational hatred is. We all have them.
Yeah.
I'm now trying to think of, like, it's hard to think of stuff that you hate for no reason. Like, I feel like, yeah, it's like a lot of, well, this happened to me. Or people have ruined things for me, so now I can no longer enjoy them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When somebody that you hate loves something that you also love.
Oh, I'm automatically out.
Yeah. That's the worst.
Captain America. Now I'm thinking about Captain America. I can't stand that motherfucker, bro.
Well, that checks out.
I don't got nothing to do with America.
Nah. Why don't you like him?
I don't know. That's what I I feel like what is he like? Because it's the same thing with Superman, right? I'm not Superman. Batman. Same vibes. Like you're just like a genetically engineered. Talking about Captain America, like you're genetically engineered superhero. You're not like a real superhero, bro. Like you're made. They made you. I hate it. It's whack.
All right. I appreciate that. I haven't been exposed to enough Captain America lore. He punched Hitler, right?
Yeah.
I think in a comic strip way back in the day.
What's that meme on Twitter? It's a picture of that dude. It says guy you despise the most says something you like or something. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Worst person you know makes a good point.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's Captain America punching Hitler.
Heartbreaking. All right, we'll see you guys on Thursday for Macrodosing. We're going to do the history of caffeine and coffee and what that meant. We'll see you then. And now, here is an interview about the Mandela Effect with Robert Kevitt. We welcome on a very special guest to Macrodosing. It's Robert Kevitt. You can see the Mandela Effect phenomenon. It's going to be out. When's that coming out, Robert?
July 9th, it'll be available on all major platforms, a direct, on-demand kind of release.
Cool. Well, we've talked a little bit about the Mandela Effect. Maybe some people didn't listen to that episode. It was a few years ago. Right. So let's just start from square one. Tell us, what is the Mandela Effect?
Well, the Mandela Effect is something that really kind of came about back in 2000, I would say several years ago. We'll leave it at that. With the exact year is kind of a little bit unknown. But people start to feel that there were memories that just didn't match up to reality. The first major one was the Nelson Mandela's death. A lot of people felt that Mandela had died in prison and never came out of prison to be the leader of South Africa, apartheid, the whole thing. So basically, it became an issue that were people remembering it wrong? Or did they maybe come from another timeline? Maybe they kind of got, transported to a different dimension. All these things started to come up. Many more of these what called Mandela effects started to be seen. And these effects were something like, let's say, Star Wars, the famous scene from, Luke, I am your father. Everybody remembers Darth Vader turning to, Luke, the character in Star Wars, and said, Luke, I am your father. Even James Earl Jones, the actor himself, has been seen many times basically intoning that, describing it, and saying it over and over again. So the idea is that people remember for sure being in the movie theater, seeing Luke, I am your father on the screen. It's not in there anymore. If you go look at the movie Empire Strikes Back, you're going to see literally Luke, I am your father is not there. The character, Darth Vader, turns to Luke and says, no, I am your father. It doesn't even kind of make sense. He's saying no to not even a question. It's very, very bizarre. There are so many examples. Another huge one you're going to see in our movie is this famous scene from Moonraker. Moonraker, everybody remembers at the end of Moonraker, Jaws, the guy's got that kind of really amazing rack of metal teeth, basically braces, but metal teeth. And then he leans down to kind of like flirt with this little girl. She's kind of a nerdy girl, kind of buxom, nerdy girl. And he smiles those big teeth, and she smiles back, small little braces. That's the reason they get together. It's kind of like, you've got teeth like that, I've got braces. You go to that movie now, she's not wearing braces, and it makes no sense. There are actual residual evidences that we're going to show in our movie where you literally see a commercial made, a TV commercial, where they're parodying that scene from the movie, where the character, the actor, is older now, he's in the scene, he's smiling, regular smile, and the girl smiles back with braces. It's a classic moment of residual evidence that something has changed, guys. Something's changed with this world. We can get into what may have changed it.
So who do you talk to in this documentary? Are you talking to people that experience the effects, that are just telling you like, hey, I really remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison? Or do you talk to scientists as well?
We have basically interviewed two major experts. One person has studied it greatly throughout the years. His name is Jacob Israel. The other person is a top journalist from the East Coast. And basically he's going to explain, Mark Lefebvre, this guy is going to explain from a journalistic point of view all the research he's done. So we didn't want to just go with talking heads back and forth. I remember this, I remember that. But we do have some great testimonials, and I don't want to be a spoiler alert here, but we have great testimonials from people. One incredible testimonial from someone who remembers the Moonraker movie very well, and Dolly with the braces, and she explains it so clearly, the evidence, why she remembers it, how she remembers it. So if you're asking me, do we have that? We have one 3-minute moment where people got to wait till the end of the movie to see this, because it's really impressive. And it really, she explains it like a witness, like you're describing, so well. We didn't want to go with just, if you go to the internet, there are literally billions, I'll say that again, billions of views on TikTok, YouTube, and a plethora of other sites, all talking about Mandela effects, debating what is going on here. People are so convinced. It's like if you go to Reddit right now and you punch in Moonraker, there are people who are like crazily like, no, I saw that movie. You got to be kidding me. So I harp on that one because so many millions of people remember that. And again, it's a great example, like Luca, I'm Your Father. How about this one? Sex in the City versus Sex and the City. Sex and the City looks so weird to a lot of people. I'm from New York, Sex in the City was a really interesting kind of way to say Sex and the City. But Sex and the City, I'm from the city of New York. There's something wrong about the way the name that show is, how that show is portrayed to society today. And again, you go back to what's called residual evidence that we show throughout our movie, which is very important to people understand. This is not a little maybe Mandela effect. Maybe it's misremembering, like a lot of psychologists say or whatever. No, there are so many evidences. For instance, with Sex in the City, there are actual like products made. Products, Sex in the City mirrors, Sex in the City. It's basically merch. There's so much merch with the original name, Sex in the City, that people can't explain this. So we went, of course, to the people that are behind the movie. Behind the TV show. Got a lot of strange responses. It's very odd when you go and look into what some of the people behind Sex in the City, I say it as I remember it, Sex in the City, and they get kind of annoyed by this. But the woman who wrote the book, Sex in the City, basically that the show is based on, she has said Sex in the City so many times in reference to her own work. So it's really, really a freaky thing, this Mandela effect. Something people really got to understand. We're showing evidence that something in this present timeline has changed without a doubt. There's many examples we could talk about. Many.
We get that a lot here on Macros, and people say that they swear that Coley was a member of the podcast, and he has never ever been on this show once. All right, we get it all the time. Yeah, it's really strange.
That's crazy.
It's great.
I love Coley.
A few times I'm listening to you say we have. I think you're saying we have residual evidence, and I think
I'm saying, yeah. Talk fast, New York.
No, you're right. You're fine. You're fine.
It's a residual evidence, meaning something has stayed residing in the present timeline that's like a piece of the other timeline. There's a guy named Gordy Rose. He invented and was involved in something called the quantum computer. He went to a TED conference and gave this speech back around 2017 or so. He said, we believe we'll be able to, and we'll get into the science of this, we believe we'll be able to figure a way out to tap into another dimension, pull that into this dimension, and I guess vice versa, and take a piece from the other dimension and bring to this dimension. So what we're looking at here is a potential that scientists have been playing around with particles. CERN out in Switzerland. CERN has been trying to recreate the Big Bang. Possibly when they recreated a Big Bang, a mini Big Bang, it may have released some particles into one dimension and then transferred other particles to this dimension. If that happened, according to Stephen Hawking before he died, or other top scientists, that could cause the world to end. That could cause us to move into another dimension. There's some of the scientists that believe who went into another dimension, and we'll get into some other theories, that it would have happened instantaneous. You would have been walking down the street, you would have been sleeping, you would have felt nothing, but we basically moved instantaneously to another dimension. As wacky as it gets, there are people who believe the world ended sometime around 2000, we'll say 15, 16, something happened. Maybe when CERN powered up their particle collider for, I think, the second time at that point. And so the idea is, did we screw up our reality? Is our reality screwed up? Did we actually bring a dimension and kind of married it to our dimension? So there are these residual artifacts that people are seeing, and we've talked about some of those already.
So what?
Got you. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask what would happen to the old dimension that we were in if we switched. And 2016, now we're in Earth 2.0.
Yeah,
is Earth 1.0 still going on?
Yeah, the idea of the residual evidence would mean there's just a little piece of the other dimension in this dimension, and vice versa. So there may be two different dimensions merging together, creating these glitches. These are glitches. A lot of the other dimension that came in left residual evidences. And maybe back in the other dimension, it's happening there. For instance, I'll give you an interesting one in our movie, and it's very talked about on the internet. Everybody remembers the JFK assassination. I've done documentaries about the JFK assassination.
He didn't die?
No, he died. Hold on.
Okay.
So in the JFK assassination film called the Zabruta film, you see, in my memory, and I believe many people's memory, and the way it seems, there were 6 people in that car. There was Jack Kennedy, president, his wife Jackie. Then we have the middle area of the car is Governor Connolly, Texas governor, and his wife. And then in the front, we have the driver and Secret Service person. 6 people. When the gunshots went off, the bullet went through Connolly, hit Kennedy, whatever. You could argue about the assassination, but the actual event, conspiracy theory, whatever, but the actual event is 6 people. Guys, there are people by the millions, just like with Mandela, just like another one I'll mention about Tiananmen Square, that famous scene where there was a tank maybe going to run somebody over years ago, right? In the China, uprising back years ago. But in the JFK assassination, there are 6 people, but many people think there were only 4 people. There'll be Jack and Jackie. Then we have a governor sitting in the front seat with the driver. I don't remember that, but there are millions of people who swear they have seen our journalist in the movie. Mark speaks to this greatly. He believes there were literally only 4 people. And here's your residual evidence. There are museum-like places, we'll just say that, memorializing the JFK assassination. They show 4 people in a car. They have a model of the car, and it's only 4 people in there. Why would you make a museum-like event or a display and not have it be exactly right? They don't have the right car, but they have pictures behind them. And it's very odd that you would have a museum-like setup where you're memorializing the assassination and you don't have the right car. You have a 4-person car, not a 6-person car. It gets even weirder, more residual evidence. When the FBI did a recreation of the assassination back in the 60s. We have this film. We don't show it in the movie, but anybody could see it. They do a recreation of the assassination, and guess what? 4 people in the car. Why? So these are the kind of things that, maybe not prove to everybody, but the residual evidence is there. Something is going on, and we can talk about some others. I mentioned the Tiananmen Square. So years ago, you remember, I'm sure, the famous historical moment where there was an uprising in China for freedom. People were protesting. The tanks came into Tiananmen Square, and some brave guy got in front of the tank and challenged the tank to run him over. I remember the tank stopping. It was a moment where the military guy in the tank realized, I'm not going to run that guy over. Come on, it's crazy. The world's watching. I'm not going to kill that guy. Guys, there are people who swear by the millions this guy was run over. It was a bloody scene. They remember it like very vividly in their mind, in their life, in their heart. It's crazy, guys. That's crazy.
So I got a question, right? So color me skeptical, my brother. But so you say do you know, I guess for sure, when we entered the new dimension?
Well, here's where it gets interesting. Okay. CERN did get powered up a few times over the years. The time that it got powered up shortly before the Mandela Effect became known and very, very obvious to people. People were seeing it and reporting about it. It happened. It coincided very, very closely to the powering up in 2000. In the 2015-16 period, we had a powering up shortly before that. So the idea is, did CERN do this? Is there something else? We look at many other theories, such as.
Wait, hold on. I want to get ahead of you real quick. Let me just. Okay. I just want to ask the question real quick.
Sure,
so it happened around 2015-16, right? That's when it's supposed to have. Is there any recent events of like a Mandela effect? Because like a lot of these, they're from the 60s, the 80s, so long, like lot of time has passed, and that allows to have some fogginess enter the memory. Could be singular or group. Is there a recent one like around 2012 where like I could have swore in 2012, yada yada yada? But
the only way to answer that, logically would be there's many Mandela effects that are occurring every day, and that's why it's becoming very, very in vogue now for people to go on the internet, search for the latest Mandela effects. There are so many we can get into, but the ones that we focus on in the movie are the ones that have become so prolific by people all over the world. And not just that, where land masses have changed. Years ago, for instance, like if you look at Italy kind of has a boot and it kind of kicks Sicily. Right now, if you look at the way Italy is, I'm part of Italian, actually, it's interesting. And I went to Italy fairly recently, and you look at where Italy is positioned right now next to Sicily, it's actually touching Sicily. I remember very clearly as a kid looking at like World War II movies and whatever, when we had to invade, Italy to kind of free up everybody and get rid of the Nazis. There were actual like campaigns from the islands where they had to kind of do amphibious landings, not walk across a bridge, so to speak, So it's very, very weird, something even about the way the Earth is right now. The Earth, look at Australia. Australia, it's supposed to be Australia's down under, way down under. Right now, Australia's positioned really close to all the other land masses up, north. It should be lower on the Earth, lower down. Now, there's a residual evidence from a movie years ago called Dazed and Confused. And when you look at the globe, and there's a few examples of this, globe in the scene, the globe has Australia way down on the globe, on the Earth. So again, these are the residual evidences. And again, we could talk about ones that happened but not that they were happening, they were noticed. So there are ones that are happening today, yesterday, we could talk about them. But the ones that we are pointing out are the ones that have been freaking people out for the last several years, and they can't get their head around it. It's freaking them out.
Interesting. So there are a couple that I was shocked to see. I thought Curious George had a tail, but apparently he never had a tail.
He had a tail in my life and my kid. I would have thought it was a little baby. It has to be a monkey.
Yeah. Where's the tail? Where's Curious George's tail? The other one was King Henry VIII. There's a famous portrait of him, and some people swear that he's always been holding a turkey leg in one of them. And the actual portrait, he's not holding it. He's just standing there looking regal. I've seen the turkey leg. I know that I have. That maybe could have been like some meat processing company recommissioned the painting and had that done a while ago. But that dude had a turkey leg. I'm sure of that.
And when you talk about famous things like that, that's a great example. We're talking about now brands in our show, brands like Coca-Cola, Volvo logo. Let's just talk about Coca-Cola for a second. Years ago, before I came into TV and film, I worked in the advertising business. And I worked on a campaign, same kind of thing, graphics and all, but campaign on the Coca-Cola bottle. The Coca-Cola logo always had Coca, a dash, cola. Now you look at Coca-Cola, it's Coca-Cola with a little dot above. Like the dot's supposed to represent the dash, but the dot is like, it's way up on the logo. There is no way as a kid. I mean, I'm telling you, I drank a lot of Coca-Cola at camp, the bottle thing. And I worked on the actual bottle in the campaign for McCann Erickson in New York, the ad agency. I was trying to get the art director to get on to be interviewed in this movie to say, no, wait a minute. We worked on that Coca-Cola bottle together. I couldn't find him. I don't know where he is these days. But the bottom line is that was another example for me. No doubt, a Coca-Cola logo used to be Coca-Cola. I don't know what the Coca-Cola logo looks like to you, but now, stadiums all over America, in baseball especially, have huge Coca-Cola displays in the outfield. It looks so eerie to me when I see it every time I go to Citi Field in New York. I see it out in right field. It makes no sense to me. It's like, what is that logo? And we cover that very heavily in the movie.
They got rid of the dash when they got rid of the cocaine. That's the only explanation. They got rid of all the white lines. Get them out of here. I don't want anything that reminds me of Coke.
I like that.
Arian, I know you're a skeptic, right?
Yeah.
So here's an example I found that we might convert you.
All right.
All right.
Dog.
You familiar with the Black Eyed Peas?
Of course, man.
You know the song Boom Boom Pow?
Okay, maybe I'm not as familiar. I'm pretty sure I've heard it.
Oh, you know that song.
You have to know this song. So Fergie at one point, she rhymed something. I'm going to give you the second part of this lyric, and you tell me what the first part was, okay?
All right.
So, like we're on the dozen here. She says, "You're so 2000 and late." What does she rhyme with that? What's the part that comes before then?
I'm so 3008.
I would have said 2008, but I'm not sure that I listened to it that well.
So everybody thinks it's 2008 except for Big T, apparently. But she says 3008.
Yeah, it's future. See, well, that's my thing. A lot of this is just people that are like kind of dumb. That's my personal opinion.
Just dumb people.
I'm sure you think differently. That's just not what the lyric was. Have you encountered? Give me your one that you believe, like with your whole heart, is just like has changed somehow, and one that you think is the most that just people get wrong.
I'll tell you right now, you reminded me what to mention. I would say there are 5 or 10. I think I mentioned a couple already. Dolly's a no-brainer. James Earl Jones literally saying, look, that was a line, he's not even like debating it. He said it in interviews. That to me is the most like, and on a script, by the way, an actual script for the movie, it's talked about in a documentary. The one I didn't mention yet, but I've mentioned a few already, is the one with Queen, the band Queen. Queen has at the end of the song, We Are the Champions. At the end of the actual movie, at the end of the actual song, we are the champions. We all know the song, right? We are the champions. And at the end, Freddie Mercury sings of the world at the end. He does it that way on the Live Aid concert. It's written on the liner notes on the album. We are at the end of the song. The last line is of the world. Even in the car karaoke, James Corden thing at night on CBS, he has Julia Roberts, he has Gwen Stefani, and he has George Clooney in the car singing the song. As they get to the end of the song, you'll see in our movie, they go, and George Clooney's about to go, of the world, and they stop, and they go, where's that line? The line is gone. On the record, when you look at the record, they stop. They don't sing that last line. We are the champions. And it ends, just like you expect to hear of the world. Guys, this has been played at stadiums for years. I've been at stadiums. I've heard it of the world. It doesn't make sense. Something is really screwy. That one, I would say in a courtroom. How can you have the liner notes on the album? The sleeve have those lines and they're not there now? How could you have Freddie Mercury sing it in his famous last concert at Live Aid? They're all waiting at the end. You'll see in our movie, the crowd is waiting for the line of the world. He says it at the end. How do you explain that, skeptic? Go ahead. Tell me that one.
I don't know. I guess I would just ask, what is the consequence?
Be the jury member. Be the jury here. I want you to be the skeptic because I want people to watch my movie and make sure they have their brains tuned in here. This is not, a fluff kind of thing. This is serious stuff here. How could you explain? How about this one? Because I'm saying to you, the company that made the record, they literally put the line so you could sing along with your record. It used to be, guys, I don't know, maybe a little bit older than you guys, but let me tell you something. When you got that album home and you took Queen and you took that album, you watched it, we were totally involved in that album. And people would have noticed. They would have said, wait a minute. It says of the world the end, but it doesn't say it at the end of the song. What's going on here? No one ever said a thing, which means at one time, if I'm a lawyer making this case to you, if you're the skeptical jury member, explain that to me. Explain how that happened. I'll give you another one while you're thinking about that. So we mentioned the evidence of Luke, I am your father. So is there an example like that I can give you? Yeah, with Luke, I am your father. Lucasfilms, the company behind the movie, behind the whole franchise, put out a figurine literally from Lucasfilms. You press the button and the actual figurine goes, Luke, I am your father. Huh? Why does he have that? Why would Lucasfilms misremember to such a degree on their own movie, they would manufacture a figurine that you take home and love and play with, and it says, Luke, I am your father.
I mean, I'm just a skeptic in general, man. So I have two.
I love you.
I have two postulations here. One is that there was an event in a science laboratory that broke the fabric of our reality and entered us into another dimension in which we have glitches and miscalculations of what we thought happened in reality, but is not matching up with reality. That's one on one hand.
That's a good one.
On the other hand, a bunch of people can't remember shit.
But half the world, by the way, don't say a bunch of people. We're talking about half the population.
Hey, man. Yeah. So
big number.
I lean towards that one. But it's fun to think about for sure.
Yeah. By the way, we got a new one, another theory. So let's look at that one. So right, Elon Musk is a very, very big proponent of the idea that we are living in a simulation, that we are not real. Believe it or not, like I'm touching this microphone right now. It's all somehow, we're like avatars in someone's computer. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Now, hold on. It sounds crazy, right? In our research, our staff found almost universal belief by the scientific community that Elon Musk is not nuts when he says it is beyond, it's 1 trillion to 1 almost, he says, that we are living in a simulation, that we are not what we think we are. This world is not what we think it is. This is Elon Musk talking, right? He's 100% sure. There are millions of well, not millions, but there are podcasts out there.
There are millions of podcasts.
Well, yeah, but not as good as yours, okay?
That's facts.
Let's say like it is, right? On any dimension, yours is the best, right? So then it comes right down to what proof is there that we're living in a simulation? First of all, what Elon Musk is saying basically is that when we had the first computer game, Pong, remember Pong, bing, bing, it's just like a ping pong game, right? A little square bounces a ball back and forth, you know what I mean? A little puck, Here we are 40 years later, whatever, 50 years later, and we have simulations, virtual reality glasses and whatever. Imagine where we're going to be 400 years from now, 4,000 years from now, 400,000 years from now, 4 million years from now. Could we make reality games so impossible to distinguish from reality? And could we then be somehow created in a way that we're not what we think we are? Now, Elon Musk is 100% sure, apparently, that we are living in a simulation. I don't know about that, but I know one thing is really eerie. Have you guys ever looked at the idea of what this double split test is for quantum physics, what this is about? In quantum physics, they've determined, it's going to blow your mind, I'm sure, to hear this, but we don't get into it too much in the movie, but we should hear it now, that when you study quantum physics, you can shine a beam of light through a couple of slits, and you can focus on what happens to the light after it leaves the slits and goes against the wall, let's say. When you're focusing on that area where it's basically coming through the slits, and you are focusing on it with a kind of a device that you can see, what's going on, those beams turn into particles, literally become physical things. But then, and maybe I'm blowing this a little bit of your quantum experts out there, so I'm not a scientist, but there's the idea that when you then pull out the plug of that device that's analyzing it, the particles even know you pulled it out. So if you're focusing on those beams as they come through, and then you are focusing on it with a detector, they turn into something else. But then when you're not looking at it, or you just pull the plug out, somehow these particles and beams know that you're observing it. It turns into something else. So the idea is, you're only going to see reality when you focus on it. So like in a computer game, when you're going toward a building in a computer game, the computer's not rendering that picture so completely until you move closer and closer and closer and closer, and then you see the windows, the brick, you see everything, because the computer's trying to keep its memory, keep its power source. And that's sort of what we're seeing in reality in quantum physics. It's so freaky. So the connection that Elon Musk is making to the simulation is supported a lot by the quantum physics experiments being done at CERN and being done in these labs. So when you guys mentioned earlier, it seems like a scientific glitch, in my opinion. Something's going on, whether it's a simulation, whether we're living in, whether two dimensions have merged together. And by the way, there are many TV shows now getting into this idea. There's a show on Apple TV called Dark Matter. They literally, you guys see it?
Mm-hmm.
What a great way to talk about this regarding the Mandela effect. And then what's really interesting is Joe Rogan's had a few people on, a few other people have had other scientists on. The scientists come on, they start talking about the simulation. And what do they use as evidence for the simulation? The Mandela effect. So it's like the Mandela effect becomes this big moment really for a lot of scientists, because they say, wait a minute, the scientists are saying that there should be evidence, and they're pointing to the Mandela effect for the simulation or the metaverse or the different dimensions thing. So
yeah,
really interesting.
The simulation theory is definitely an interesting one. We've talked about it a little bit, and there's ways of thinking about the world that could point you in that direction. Say it seems way more statistically probable that either we're the first society and we just haven't created the simulation yet, or we're a byproduct of another universe that has already made this. But then you also have to think that means the people that are creating the simulations didn't program it entirely correctly, and so now we're finding weaknesses in their code. And
yeah, it's like an avatar in a game you're playing, and the avatar looks up at you and goes, "Wait a minute, I'm aware you're looking. I'm aware I'm in a game, and we're aware that we're in a game, and now maybe we're aware that we are a simulation, and that's a glitch in their programming. You think?"
Yeah, exactly. So if
that's great.
It's like when we're playing The Sims, they might have consciousness. They might understand what's going on, and then they're like, "Hey, there used to be a house here," or "Where'd my wife go? I thought I was married yesterday. Now she's gone. What's going on?" And
one reason why I'm not a big proponent of the simulation one, I tend to lean a little more toward the other, is that when you're thinking about the amount of computer programming for every brain on the planet that's alive, I guess, and I guess when we die, I don't know, the simulation has a lot of issues about life and death and whatever. But then the idea is every thought you have, every concept in your whole being of every human being on the planet is programmed in some way, and I think I have free will, and I'm thinking about talking to you guys right now, and that's sort of programmed. I don't know.
Maybe it's sleep. Maybe that's when they get you. You go to sleep and they shut you down, conserve some power, then they re-upload new stuff into your brain for the next day.
That's great. I love that.
Yeah.
Good. So you guys should have been interviewed for a movie. That's in the part 2. Maybe you guys will be interviewed.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds fascinating. So we appreciate you joining us here. Big T, Aaron, do you have any last questions for him?
No, not really, man. I think it's an interesting theory. So I can't tell, but maybe tell me if I'm wrong. You really believe this?
Oh, without a doubt. I've studied this since 2016 from the beginning. I went to other meetings and I talked to other networks about this. This was definitely, I'm more of a TV producer known for doing more shows like Fox Network and, mysteries like UFOs and the government. And like, for instance, what's going on right now with UFOs is like a nightmare. People don't even know what they're talking about. The government got pulled in by a bunch of grifters that they're not even really honest about their own knowledge about UFOs. The question about this is the same I have for UFOs. I've put on more videos on television that cannot be explained conventionally. They're not, lights in the sky. These are structured craft appearing in our world and around our planet and near the moon. There's no doubt we have some kind of visitation. So the evidence for UFOs and the evidence for the Mandela effect is there's an analogy there, but I think people are a little bit thrown off UFOs right now because of what happened with the last couple of years with the government getting pulled into it, and the government is totally been, I think, really misled by a bunch of people. Even though the UFO phenomena is real, there are a lot of people that have kind of grifted it, tried to make money with it. So in my idea, there's a real mystery like the Mandela effect, but I think a lot of people have never seen a documentary like this before, where we look at the evidence, finally look at the real evidence and see what it is.
So it's not that you're trying to do anything. You're just trying to make people aware that this may be our new reality.
I think I'm waking people up to the idea a little bit like I was one of the earliest producers showing the best UFO evidence on camera, video, filmed evidence. Same thing is true. The Mandela Effect, just a new round for me. And I'll get back to the UFO thing, which we will be doing a big documentary about that in the very near future. But this is definitely the biggest mystery on the planet today. Anybody who looks at the Mandela Effect on the internet, TikTok, YouTube, wherever, Reddit, you will know this is the number one mystery now being talked about around the world.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought up the UFO thing, because I do have some questions for you on that. So you said that my theory about the government unveiling all these UFOs that they've captured either with cameras on military planes or monitoring the coast, they see these aircrafts moving in ways that we can't understand. My theory behind it was they want our foreign adversaries like China, Russia, to think that we've got this new technology and we know how it works. So that way they spend a shitload of money trying to recreate that technology, and there really is no end game for them. We just want them to waste a bunch of money on military spending that's not going to lead them anywhere. So my theory is that there's some misinformation going on in that direction. But we were talking about grifters. So what grifters have taken control of the UFO disclosures?
Well, if you guys know anything about my background, I'm proud to say this. I kind of put most of the UFO evidence in the cultural lexicon. I put it out there through the Fox Network and my shows there, whether with the Alien Autopsy, Fact or Fiction, which didn't prove to be a real film. But the idea is there may be a real film in the government archive with this type of evidence of an alien being autopsied by the government. There's UFO videos galore that I've aired on the networks that I think are the most impressive videos. What happened in the last 6 years is a bunch of grifters from the governmental kind of consulting world, people that had a little bit of inside knowledge of governmental issues and also done some, we'll call them some projects with governmental connections. They built a story.
Why are you putting it in air quotes? Why do you put that in air quotes? Governmental connections.
Because what you're talking about are people that were consultants on governmental projects that had a little bit of governmental connections like that. They got involved with a guy named Bob Bigelow, who's a guy out in Las Vegas, a billionaire who, with a very sordid background, by the way, who used a lot of fakery and nonsense to make people believe Skinwalker Ranch was a real place in, Utah where aliens were coming. Oh yeah, aliens, Bigfoot, beavers made out of, some kind of monster beaver. Ridiculous, no evidence at all. These same people brought these videos to the government and said, what are these two videos? One called FLIR, one called Gimbal. They were shot during actual military exercises. What are the odds those are some kind of drones testing our own military or a governmental adversary sending something in? They're not very impressive. The videos do not show any strange movement of any kind. They don't even come close to the stuff I aired for years on the networks. So what we're talking about here is a different generation, no offense, looking at evidence that's allegedly from the government. It's the exact opposite. I hate to tell you the truth, but the government never released these images. These were grabbed by these grifters. They literally took the evidence into their own little art, in their own little world. They then put it back out and said to the government, what are these videos? The government said they are somewhat unidentified objects in our military training films. That's all they've ever said. These people went out, did mock documentaries, things that had no real basis in evidence, and I'll be showing this in the very near future. But that does not mean UFOs are not a real mystery. It's that there was a lull in the UFO field. There wasn't a lot of evidence being shown for a while. These guys got a hold of two old films, one from 2004, one from 2015. I will say this, they're a little still mysterious. We don't know exactly what the event was, but we have one of the top people from the CIA coming on to talk about these films in our future documentary, which we'll be talking about in the very near future. But I'm not trying to say that UFOs, which I've kind of cut my teeth on as a journalist, are not a real mystery. It's that the last 6 years have been the worst kind of misinformation by people taking advantage of the world's interest in UFOs, and they don't have any evidence to support what they're saying. And the bottom line is the government had a study. They looked into what these people were claiming, and they released just a few months ago their conclusions. A gentleman named Sean Kirkpatrick ran a thing called APRO, and APRO literally said, they've shown no evidence, they've proven nothing. Ironically, one guy came out, David Grush, he claimed he worked on the secret study. This guy worked for the guy that I'm describing, and Sean Kirkpatrick, who ran the program, said, this guy, David Grush, never came to talk to us, never showed us any evidence. And the evidence he's pointing to sounds like the alien autopsy footage that I put on for years ago. The alien autopsy footage appears to be a fake, but there does appear to be some proof that there may be an alien autopsy in the government archive. So years ago, maybe about 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago.
Are you saying you have that proof?
There's a great story in the 70s, if you guys have the last few minutes. And alien autopsy, people point to me all the time and saying, well, it was my biggest show. Look, Alien Autopsy was just a documentary I made about a film that could have origins in the governmental sector, right? But the film seems to match a film. Even though we think the people that made this film, they kind of recreated what they said that was on the original film they bought from a cameraman. Regardless of that, there was a story in the 1970s where a gentleman who used to be a royal press photographer named Michael Maloney came to Disney on a kind of a press junket. And the guys at Disney were freaking out because they had been shown a government film. And they wanted to show Michael Maloney the film. So he showed him the film in the 70s. And according to what he says, there was a film the military brought Disney to be able to try to disseminate to the public. And in that film, you see an alien being autopsied, the government's dealing with it, but there's also a living alien on the ground, kind of like writhing in pain. He describes a scene, a guy who ran Disney's graphics area for a long time, Ward Kimball. He gave lectures at the end of his life saying it's true. The government came to us. They wanted us to show the world what's true about aliens and UFOs. And then at the last minute, they pulled back the evidence. But we saw the evidence. We watched the film. We saw these, evidences of UFOs and an alien. So look, I'm just telling you the truth. There seems to be a lot of connections to the alien autopsy, which might be real. But what happened was these guys, these grifters, as I call them, they literally got the New York Times to write an article about this. That's what launched this entire thing back in 2017. That article by the New York Times should be looked at by journalism colleges for the next millennia because it's filled with 95% bullshit. The New York Times did a bad job, and we're going to show how bad a job it was. They didn't check the guy's credentials who came out, this guy Lou Elizondo. They never checked the background of the other people around him, a guy named Hal Puthoff, who was the guy involved with the government years ago with psychic power research. Psychic power research was the last time a bunch of grifters came along and stole millions of dollars from the government trying to convince us that we have psychic power, we can move objects, we can see the distance, we can see our enemies with nothing more than our mind. A lot of bullshit. A lot of bullshit in our society, guys. A lot of crap.
So when we've been hearing recently about Tom DeLonge, the guitar player from Blink-182, getting involved in this, would you put him in that bucket too? You think he's a grifter?
We tried to reach out to Tom. When Tom first came out in 2018, he wrote me a little note saying, "Bob, I can't get involved with you doing a documentary about my alleged videos and what I've got out because I cut a deal with the network." He cared more about making a show called Unidentified, which is the worst documentary series ever created on History Channel. 2 seasons of it, complete bullshit. Lou Elizondo running around making like he's some government operative. Lou Elizondo had no job at all with UFOs. He had a job dealing with Bob Bigelow and the people I'm telling you about. None of the governmental connections that Lou Elizondo claims. He's a fraud. Lou Elizondo is a fraud.
What's your take on Bob Lazar?
Bob Lazar had a good story with no proof, so therefore we never touched it. George Knapp was in one of my shows years ago on Fox. We talked about, that's when it was breaking, the Bob Lazar story. Mm-hmm. I said, George, do you want to talk about Bob Lazar at all? Nah, not really, Bob. It's still not a case I know that I believe or whatever. Then they make it a big thing with this guy, Jeremy Corbell. It is ridiculous. Bob Lazar's story has very little, if no evidence. We could sit all day long talking about it, but I love it to be true. Wouldn't we love it to be true that a guy worked on an alien saucer?
I would love all this shit to be true.
We would love that story. Unfortunately, all bullshit. But I will give Bob Lazar a little bit of credit here. He did come out again. He tried to tell people his story, but it doesn't hold up. But I want to make a point you said about Tom DeLonge. My feeling about Tom is he was pursuing his own interest in UFOs. Everybody wants to be the guy to prove UFOs are real. Oh my God, it's a great story. Even non-journalists, they want that. But he got sucked in. You can look at the WikiLeaks releases years ago, and you can see letters and emails between Tom DeLonge wanting to talk to people like, guess who, used to be in the government. He's still there, I guess. One guy, I don't know if you guys know who this guy is, so I won't mention him right now, but there's a governmental guy who was involved with Bill Clinton.
Podesta.
All right, you got Podesta. So I wasn't going to bring Podesta's name up, but I'm glad you know who Podesta.
I was going to reference.
You guys know your shit. I love it. So there's Podesta telling DeLonge, "Come on, we'll show you all the evidence." Podesta did one thing in this world, which I think is interesting. When he left the Clinton administration years ago, Sci-Fi Channel was doing a series called Taken by Spielberg about alien abductions. So there was Podesta and his brother, literally the PR firm, doing the PR for that series. So he's very much into UFOs. I get it, whatever. So he kind of got pulled in, Tom DeLonge, to this group. And then he got kind of led down different, primrose paths. And whether or not, he really was trying just to make money, doesn't believe in UFOs. I don't think that's the case. I think he believes in UFOs, but he kind of got caught up in this kind of machine that was, I think, led by a bunch of people, which we can get into in my movie, which will be coming out probably next year.
Interesting. I had no idea there was such beef amongst the UFO community and
they don't believe it. Just so you know, dig deeper into it, and you'll see Sean Kirkpatrick. He is the guy who ran APRO, the governmental overseeing body of all the crap you were hearing on Capitol Hill. And literally, no, and no. Nothing was shown to us, nothing at all. And these other military films are not proof of anything other than, we believe, they're not going to tell you this, but they know they're unidentified to the public. Mm-hmm. But they could very well be identified by the military. Interesting.
Have you ever had like a public confrontation? It'd be interesting to get all all you guys together and have you have just a big debate and settle things once and for all.
Oh, I have no doubt. In fact, when I'll make a prediction. Hopefully, you guys will have me back on when this movie called Euphodacy. That's what it's going to be called. My Odyssey, Euphodacy. I think what you'll have is Jerry McCorbell, George Knapp, the people that you've heard about so much about this material, Lou Elizondo. They'll refuse to come on the show.
Well, I think we should make it happen. I want to get a big round.
Would you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Would you send this podcast to these people and say, Bob Kiviat now is challenging you. If you believe you have a story to tell that isn't bullshit, you're not grifting, you're not making up bullshit, come on Bob's documentary.
Okay. I got a proposition. I'm indifferent because I don't got a dog in the fight, and I'm skeptical about all this shit.
By the way, it's not debatable. What I'm telling you right now.
Let me moderate it. Let me moderate this debate.
I love it. I can't wait. You can just start tomorrow. Can we get this going?
Yeah, we're on it.
We'll reach out.
The UFO Olympics.
Barstool, by the way, I love your sports work. I love everything you're doing. My college age kids, they love it. Love you guys. Always have.
What are your teams? Who do you root for?
I'm a Jet and Met fan. Mets and Jets, maybe. That's it.
Okay, you should talk to Aaron Rodgers. I bet he'd have a lot to tell you.
Aaron Rodgers, we have another project we'll talk about for a few seconds. You'll love it. It's a UFO celebrity show. UFOs Among the Stars. We are trying to get Aaron Rodgers to talk about his incredible UFO sighting happened years ago in New Jersey, where he literally saw a craft that came like almost out of the movie Independence Day, out of a cloud. Jet engines were flying after it. There was a nuclear plant nearby. The nuclear plant's like, warnings were going off. It's a great story. If Aaron will come on this show, it's going to be an amazing story. It's just one of these celebrities we're going to have. It's called UFOs Among the Stars. And we think when you hear about his story, you hear about a few other celebrity stories. There's amazing stories to be heard.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield saw a UFO like 5-6 years ago as well.
I got to get Baker next. Thank you.
Jay Glazer would be another one, the NFL reporter. He was traveling.
Absolutely. Heard about Glazer, yeah. We love that Barstool involved. We love to have you guys involved in this.
I want to do the UFO Olympics and just everybody bring their best evidence, bring all the personal beef, all the drama behind the scenes. Let's settle it once and for all. Let's figure out who's trying to deliver us actual information. Let's figure out who's working in misinformation, and let's see who's in it for themselves. How about that?
This is my dream. If you guys can make this happen, and especially Barstool, because I always love the intersection between sports and UFOs. In one of my specials for Fox, UFOs, the best evidence ever caught on tape, we actually show a UFO over Shea Stadium, where I used to go as a kid so much at Shea in New York, So there's always been a connection between UFOs and sports, and the famous movie Men in Black, the first one especially, where there's right by Queens, New York, where I come from. I'm doing a documentary off the beaten track. You guys probably would be shocked. I'm doing a show about the rising interest around the world in K-pop girl groups, girl bands, and it's becoming huge around the world in almost every country. But again, it seems to circle around Queens, New York, because I'm doing a concert there this summer. I'll be covering it. So it's an interesting thing how, Queens, New York, where the Beatles came years ago, Shea Stadium. I'm the New York guy, so I'm a New York sports guy, but the music is tied right in there.
I think it's more likely that if there's a simulation or if there's some sort of spiritual element that is controlling our sports universe, they're probably big, like Boston sports fans. I think they probably root for the Red Sox, the Celtics, the Patriots, and UConn basketball.
No, it sounds to me like you got some real Boston connections there.
We've got a lot of Boston freaks around this office, yes.
And how are you guys going to feel like the New England Patriots are not quite the talk of the Eastern Division, and somehow the Jets elevate above them? And
that would be evidence of a simulation right there. The Jets win a Super Bowl, and I think everyone's convinced.
If Aaron Rodgers could stay on the field more than 3 plays this season, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, we'll see. Good luck with that. The truthful answer is I'm sick of Boston winning everything, so I'd be happy if they took a little break.
Me too.
Thank you very much, Robert Kiviat. You can see his film, The Mandela Effect Phenomenon. It's coming out July, is it 8th or 9th?
July 9 on all major platforms. I'm sure people will be hearing all about it. So just grab it. Let me know your thoughts. Get to me. Let me know. But the Mandela Effect, is it real? Come on.
And send in some of your examples of Mandela Effects that you've seen. If you're listening to this right now and you're like, I swear that I remember. The Fruit of the Loom one is a big one, the cornucopia.
Yeah,
Fruit of the Loom.
Another one.
But
you guys are researchers. I love it. You know your stuff.
We dabble. So thank you very much for joining us, and we're going to try to get the UFO Olympics together and have a
Please, I'll
giant
help in
debate.
any way I can. Please.
We're going to get to the truth. It's out there somewhere, and we will find it.
I love it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it a lot.